Righto, ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday afternoon, and if you didn't guess from our Facebook and Instagram posts, we are in the Race Wheels Australia workshop, and we are currently and very happily blessed and joined by none other than the Oz champ, Ryan Taylor, the man, Clayton Taylor, and also the big boss, Mickey Taylor as well. So this is a podcast I have been looking forward to and sitting down and getting into. So first off, boys, welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
And this is going to be a good one. So these boys,
sorry.
Before we go any further, Josh.
Yeah.
I did too.
Why did you call Michael the big boss?
Oh, did I?
You're in trouble now. You're because he's sitting next to him.
You got it. That's fine.
Yeah. So we'll get this back on track after that. No, I got called out early. But this is one I'm very much so looking forward to get the three brothers in place. We are missing a few of the other members of Team Taylor, but to get you three guys in one place and record, quite often Dan and I have talked about why we do this podcast and some of the things that we very much enjoy, and it's getting guys like you together and getting to hear some of the stories about how Team Taylor was formed, your background in off-road racing, and I feel like this is one that we're going to put in the history books and talk about for a while. So, guys, I am very honoured that you have found time this afternoon from your busy schedules to record this podcast, and very much looking forward to it. So, where do we start, boys? Do you want to start with Team Taylor? When was Team Taylor formed? Who wants to take the mic first?
I reckon RT.
Give it to Mike.
No.
Yeah.
Give the mic to Mike.
On the mic with Mike.
I reckon we go RT. RT's number one. So RT goes first.
Well, I was going to, or do we address that? Do we, like the elephant in the room? We have
You're running the show.
the current Australian champion in the house right now. I think we got to go with you.
Cool.
Tell us.
What do you want to know?
Oz won, bud.
Oz
How's
won?
it feel?
Oh,
How's
yeah.
it feel?
Bloody awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Just I don't know. Like people just ask me, oh, you come down off the wave or whatever, and day in day out. Obviously, you got the regular work and stuff, but every chance we get to crack a beer and celebrate, we are. Like it's just something that's just been such a long time coming.
Yep.
And it's I don't know. It's sort of just to even get there, it's always been a goal of ours and the team and Dad's and Mum, like it's the whole Team Taylor. We go racing as a family first and foremost of everything is just to go and go and have fun and do it together. But just to be able to go out this year and just have a crack, and it started off pretty good, and we just kept riding the wave and had a few things along the way which we can get into later. But I mean,
we've got time.
Yeah, just that feeling is maybe more so for me is just relief. I don't know about like Mick and Clay, but I mean it's obviously it's a team thing. So we did it and we did it together, and I'm just so proud that I could do my part.
Yep.
Which is obviously drive and whatever, but it's a team effort. Like you don't just do this stuff on your own. And I'm just so privileged to have the backing and have the support of everyone.
Yes.
It's just such a it's just cool as shit. Just like number one. Like it doesn't get any better than that. Like and to just to be able to, even if it's just a one and done sort of thing, like we'll have a crack, but it's just we've done it. And
that one and done.
Who cares? Who cares from here on in?
It's like the monkey's off the back. So
and
like they say, the first one's the hardest, right?
Yep.
So
100%. So, how long has it been? Because this is how long has Team Taylor been cracking at off-road racing?
Well, Dad started in the late 70s, so 78, I believe.
Yep.
Is when it all sort of started. In the Baja days, and so since 78. But then the Raceco probably was the first crack that Dad had, which was in the late 90s.
Yep.
So mixing it with the big boys, and that was Dad. He always wanted to know. Well, he's done the Baja thing. He was a Baja king, and done so much there. And then he just sort of was like, well, I just want to have a crack and see, what they do and how these cars drive and how they work. So I went from the race co into the gym co and into the Get and the Tatums, so probably since the late 90s is when we sort of started getting serious about that Oz one. Yeah.
Yep. So what's
and
that?
to put it in perspective, so Team Taylor has run every Australian championship bar about 2 since 1990.
Yeah, wow. So what? Quick math. What's that? That's 22 years. No, 23 years.
23
sorry,
years.
23 years. So that's a lot of history and a lot of
that's
time.
30 years. 1990.
Yeah, 30 years.
Yeah, 1990.
1990.
Sorry, I was working off 99. My bad. So that is a lot of history, a lot of effort to go into it. Now to finally capture that as Oz one. Hey? How good is that?
Yep, it exists.
Yeah,
we found it.
Yeah.
The unicorn. We found the unicorn.
See, kids, don't give up in your dreams.
So that's some good advice. So one of the things about this year, and probably is to mention, is you actually didn't go into the year believing that you were going to compete for the entire championship. You guys actually went to St. George, it being a local round, and then as the year progressed, you guys decided to continue to be all in on it.
Yeah, look, because it's such a big commitment, as everyone that, everyone's a privateer, right? There's not many go out there and it's a job. So, I mean, go out there and, you enter the first one, so you go second, third, you get to think, and then, go, okay, well, it's a big outlay, it's an expense, it's time. So you kind of do, would love to go and race every race regardless of the result.
Yep.
But the reality is that, it's still, we're still privateers at the end of the day. So
still got businesses to run.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, well, obviously, St. George, we had a breakout, second outright.
Yes.
Pooncarry was next.
Yep.
And then we won that one, which was
so that was the first overall win for Team Taylor.
Yep. Very first. Yep. So that was, obviously another first for us.
Yes.
Which was celebrate that in itself. And then coming into Fink was like, well, we're now leading the championship coming into Fink. So there's a fair bit of, I guess, pressure and, that maybe just put it on ourselves or myself just going into there going, holy shit, we're actually leading the championship coming to Fink, which was really cool.
Yep.
But then
not just a fluke. Fink was the third round. So by then you'd had 2 good rounds.
Yep. Yeah. So, and then even after Fink, we had some issues on the run down. And
so talk us through those. What happened at Fink?
Fucked up. So, look, it's that one kind of haunted me all year, like a little bit mentally, because I did struggle because I was like, I got caught up. The old boy always spoke about the red mist, right? Like, as a driver, you see that dust in front of you, and you just all of a sudden you just beam in on that, and that's all you can sort of think of. I wasn't sort of thinking of the overall position, championship. So, I'll take that one, obviously lesson learnt. And, so we just missed a corner. It was 30 Ks to go. We're almost down at Fink. We had I would have to say it was our best run down to Fink that we've ever had. And I think it might've been because of the timing between the cars as they left the line. There was it 2.5 minutes, I think.
Oh, really?
It was a bigger gap than they've ever had.
Yep.
So we actually had, almost zero dust, other than when we, Hayden Bentley was in front of us.
Yes.
And, I could see that little chopper buzzing in the air. So
it was kind of a bit of a.
So that was a bit of a mental thing for me. Unfortunately, it sort of put us in that position. I could see we were catching, and then unfortunately, we didn't have the track map the whole way down either.
Oh, in your GPS,
in the GPS
down to pre-run. Yep.
Yeah. So by the time we sort of got down that far, we were just going by old school. You know? And then unfortunately there was a double apex left-hander, and we got the first one, missed the second one, and there was just a massive tree right in front of us, which luckily for us, it was just dead wood, which we turned into firewood for the lucky campers. Came and thanked us later.
Always a good guy. Good guy,
so,
Ryan.
So I was actually surprised. Like we hit that thing with a fair bit of pace, and it just exploded. First thing I just looked over, Adam Maguire was in with me for Fink.
Yes.
And I just looked over. I was like, "Holy crap! Like there's that much timber, dead wood everywhere." I just looked over, make sure he was okay.
Yes.
And he was, everything was fine. And next minute was get out of the car and just look around. And I noticed that we'd just, like first of all, like obviously the impact of the tree just banged up the front a bit.
Yep.
We ended up with blew 2 tires.
Yes.
Yeah. So long and
So
short of it
both,
was no front
on one
left
side.
and back right.
Yeah, right.
Because there was that much timber,
Yep,
was just
yep,
just
yep.
splinters
Front
everywhere.
left,
So,
back right. Yeah.
yeah,
Copy.
yeah, fancy
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So and just in the heat of the moment, it was like, okay, we'll address the front right first. So I naturally changed that one because that one was just gone.
Yep.
The back I noticed was just going flat. So I was like, oh, okay, well, did the front one first, and then so what I probably should have done was put the good one on the rear, and then the going down one on the front. But yeah, anyway, we got going again. It was only 30 k's.
Hindsight's 2020, they say.
Yeah. So that was the issue at Fink. Car pulled up, buddy. There's nothing wrong with it. Put 2 new tires on it, turned around, sent it home. So I feel like we got really lucky there. But yeah, managed to. I think we came home. We got down there in 48th, I think, after we lost all that time, and then raced back in the 20th. So got some points, which was probably valuable.
Yep.
Was valuable.
Yes. So that the tire that was going down on the back, did it end up going completely flat, or was it just not tractionable on the drive?
Yeah, no, we had tire just it was
shredded.
It was shredded.
Yep.
Like I was little plug here for Method. Like it that wheel basically just got us home. Like I was in back of my mind, I was like, okay, well, what can happen here? Can we shatter a rim, or can it bang up and then jam on the brakes? Like all these things I was just thinking about was like nurse at home. And we got there, and the bead obviously held onto the tire, and the thing was still symmetrical and was going around. So I guess that's just a testament as well, and to Method, and if that had have let us down, then that would have changed the championship.
Yep. So Clay and Mick, at this point in time, you guys were down at Apatula. Did you guys know what was going on with Ryan? Were you able to communicate, or you just unfortunately had to sit there and wait? And obviously, as more, because what do you say, 49th you came in?
48th or 49th.
Yep. So obviously it was a long wait for you guys at the overnight stop at Fink. How was that for you guys?
The only communication we had was a little GPS tracker, Zolio, that the boys would hit at every 10K marker. So we had an idea. We'd get a message to our phone, every time they'd pass the 10Ks.
Yep.
And we got to, like, oh, we're waiting for a wait. And it never came. We're like, oh, they're stopped.
Yep.
So, we knew something was going on. We were down at Fink, weren't we, Mick, when they rolled through?
I was, you weren't.
Yeah. So, but hey, that's half the joy of motorsport and off-road racing. You sit there and you
wonder where they are.
You wonder where they are.
Yeah.
It's like when Mick goes out to the pub to Alicia sitting at home wondering where he is.
No, she knows where I am. She's wondering when I'm getting back.
So obviously a bit of a nervous wait for you, because at that point in time you guys were, like you said, leading the championship, and then obviously as it was, because I guess at that point in time your main competition was the Swinglehurst. Yep. And they had been in and finished at this point in time.
Had a good run.
Swingos and
Josh Howe. So
Josh was still
we passed,
in.
but he blew an engine on the way down. So he was still in it, but we'd passed him.
Yes. Yep. So obviously a bit of a nervous wait for you guys. So got that fixed. Much to do on the car to turn around that night, or just the tires and a bit of a look over?
There's never much to do on the car down at Fink, but it seems to take an awful long time.
Yep.
Whether it's just the conditions that you're prepping the car, whether you're just looking at the same thing 15 times to make sure that it's right.
Yep.
You can't just sit around and do nothing. If you've got light, you're looking at that car.
Yeah.
You're looking at something. And look, just to go back to what Ryan was saying about, he just said he fucked up and has been on his mind a fair bit. It's the reason it happened was also because that's the racer in him.
Yes.
Got him to that point that we were in the championship. So, you can beat himself up all he likes, but the reason it happened was because he's a racer.
Yep.
He was having a crack, and it happened.
Yep.
So, it's...
I can guarantee you that if you or me were driving that car, Mick, that wouldn't have happened.
No, we wouldn't have been.
We would have been anywhere near Bentley.
We wouldn't have been anywhere near it. So, you can say that, but the pace these boys are being pushed to these days, mistakes happen. And you go into Fink, and we spoke about it. Like, are we going into Fink to just with the championship in mind? Or are we going into Fink like you do every Fink and to have a crack at Fink.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the first time we've been in that position too, that we were leading a championship and they go, it's like when they go into Bathurst, do they, you know,
Yeah.
are we going for Bathurst or are we going for the, you know, for the championship?
And both of them are as prestigious
Absolutely.
as each other to
In
a
their
point.
own right,
In their
yeah.
own right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
You know, and some of the sectors, I think Ryan had the quickest sector time through, I think it was the Bunduma checkpoint. So, you know, he was on the pace, was probably up for P2 or P3, even with, you know, if he had chosen not to push at that point and then just follow the rest of the way in.
Yep.
So, you know, you have a crack, what happens.
But you don't, when you're driving in those cars, you don't know where you are anyway.
Yeah.
You got no communication. You got no one telling you what's going on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're just like, I need to get down here as quick as I can.
Yeah.
That's
And it's a preparation thing too. You know, like we've never pre-ran the whole of Fink.
Yep.
So, you know, that's something that we need to probably do better for next
It's
year.
definitely something that's missing in what we do. Like,
Yep.
you know, to not have that full map the whole way down and you know, just that little bit of track knowledge, you know, like we're still checking up on things that these boys are probably just flying over.
Blazing
You know?
over, So that's part of the plan next year for Fink is to get out there a little bit early
Look,
and do some pre-running.
It's always the plan, but
Yeah.
you know, we go back to, we've all got day jobs, we've got our businesses that we need to run, and okay, what do we take out to pre-run? You know, it just adds a whole other level to it. But that's where the sport is now, and that's probably what we need to do next year is to go out and, you know, get that preparation a bit better to know that we're never going to know the track like Toby knows the track.
Yep.
So you know, we just need to know it a little bit better than what we do.
Yes.
And go from there.
Yeah, I don't have that many spare bones to break to go knowing like Toby knows it.
Oh, the being able to ride it on a bike is massive, and the commitment level that it takes, and I feel like at the speed he rides a bike, which is just mind blowing, like it would almost have to be burned into your memory to have the confidence to ride it at that pace. Yeah, so that's interesting. I didn't know that about not having GPS the whole way down. So how did you get a GPS file this year? Was it just a leftover from, say, the last year that you competed, or you get it off another competitor, or you did go and pre-run, say, the first 80 Ks of it in a street car? How did you get the GPS file?
No comment.
No comment.
Too many beers since then. I actually get confused between this year and last year at Fink because I was like, hang on, we drove down to the 60K last year, and then so because we tried to get the file off somebody else, but it actually wouldn't upload into the GPS. So did we even have a file on the way down? I don't look at that thing.
Yeah, that's Adam's problem, isn't it? Yeah. That's
So no, we did try to get the file because we figured, oh well, look, someone's going to have a low rants that you know we can get it off, but the tech wasn't working. So actually we probably didn't even have the rundown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
we've raced enough without them.
That's
Look,
right.
It's a straight rundown, so it's like point to point.
Yeah, that's right. The road doesn't change, but that is probably
GPS used to be banned.
Well, that's what I was about to say. That's a fair point. GPSs are a relatively new thing into off-road racing in Australia.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's something that you guys are going to have to invest some time and effort into getting a navigator that understands GPS and how to use it, or do you think it's something that, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Like this year, obviously, you guys did pretty successfully relying on I see this, I drive that. Like, I guess one guy that I think about that's probably a bit of a demon for that as well is AJ, like drives a single seater, so can't really use a lot of GPS. Do you think there's something in that ability to be able to drive, particularly with off-road racing, short laps, changing track conditions? Do you think that a GPS is relatively good for Fink where it's only one lap and it sort of doesn't change? But do you think that if people, like, you'll see GPSs are good and what you might have is first lap heroes that do really, really well on the first lap, but then as the track conditions continue to change, you won't see guys stepping up in pace?
Yeah, well, I think the lead nav actually talks back to you, doesn't it? So when I haven't used lead nav, but just feedback that I've got is that, you know, you can be like, so with AJ, like he's got someone talking to him, you know, through the lead nav. So if he's gone down and, you know, marked everything and it's that and the other, then I think it just replays back in maybe real time. I could be totally off the mark here. I don't know, but that's the sort of feedback that has come to me through lead nav. But I mean, you know, back to the low rants. I mean, it's to have that, it's not for me anyway. Like I'm sort of a bit old school, like we all are, and Dad always said, if you can't see, you don't go, and all this sort of stuff. So that's sort of bred into you. But then as we sort of evolve into this new sort of tech racing, I guess like Adam and I have been a good partnership at Fink for quite a few years now, and I feel like we've done really well together. And unfortunately, we've had a few mishaps, which I feel like we've got some unfinished business at Fink. So unfortunately, we couldn't get the result this year. Just from one incident, but it's a new way of racing, isn't it? Like we're again back to the don't see, don't go sort of thing, dust, all this kind of stuff. And again, we don't drive. The GPS doesn't really help you drive through the dust. It just helps you know, okay, where the track's going. And that's all that I rely on it for. I don't sort of drive in dust with the GPS going, we can hold a pin here, because you still don't know. It's just a black line on a screen. So it's just like for us, just moving into that and how we can, I guess, help that sort of tech help us in our racing.
Just use it to limit the risk.
That's it. Like if we had have had that track map, then we would have had that double apex left. And and looking back over footage that's been shown to me, of other people through that section, I'm just like, oh yeah, they're checking up a lot. And we just come in there just like, slight left, boom, off track. There's a tree. Like
so it was a style of corner where it like was a little bit left and then tightened a lot as you continued to get around it. So that was Fink. So then next round, much to do on the car after that? No, get it home. Obviously not too much damage from...
No, that thing's full of lead in the front. So just you can hit anything. I've hit steel strainer posts. I've hit trees. Foz just looks around and goes, "Oh, there's a little bit of a crack there. I'll weld that up." That's about it. Like that thing is just a tank.
That's I suppose the biggest disappointment out of the whole thing is the car was perfect.
At Fink.
At Fink, the car was
all
absolutely
year.
perfect.
The car was perfect all year.
But like after an impact like that, and the car was just perfect. And I remember saying to Ryan, just before the run back, said, "This is your championship right now. You've got to every car you pass, you've got to treat as a championship point, and just get on them, give them one chance to move out the way." Then,
and I remember that too. Like I remember that advice, and that's where these guys have been awesome with me all year. Like this is the stuff that Mick's giving me tips, Clay's giving me tips on driving, and I'm just like in my head, I'm just like, oh man, there's so much going on. Like how do I change what I'm doing, and how much do I, so it's all this stuff I think that just helps even me as a driver get better, because you only go with what you know, right? So so I do remember that, and even I think it was coming into the arena at Fink, it was JSW on the infield, and we had a little battle come in, and in my head I was just like, I was got to get this guy, because
that's a point.
Mick was like, that's a point. And whether it was or not on time, because obviously it's a time thing, or it may or may not have mattered, but again, you're racing, so it's you kind of, it was kind of like a little stadium race. It was like so it was fun.
Very good. So then on to what was after that? It was Love Day.
Love Day.
Yep. So Love Day was going good, and then
so I think coming into Love Day we were
second.
So Jake had taken the lead from
7 or 8 points behind Jake.
Yep, 7 or 8 points. I think it was maybe 7. And then so that was going well. We had a few things with the suspension. We're sort of just trying to get the car set up for those really slow, rough. It's kind of like Fink, but just a lot slower pace.
It seemed like a lot of cars were struggling. There was a section of whoops where it was must have come out of a slow corner, and then it was a long run along, and they were very wide apart as well. So you need a lot of horsepower and a lot of pace to get up on top of them.
So that
was where Jake rolled.
Yes.
In qualifying.
You had a moment through them as well.
Yeah. I mean, we got caught out a little bit there, I think, because like that style of track is something that we haven't raced on before. So I mean, Foz is obviously always looking at the car and trying to work out what to do and what to change. So over the course of the weekend, we got progressively a bit. The car was a bit better set up. So that was Love Day, but we came into that, everything was going fine. Car was good, and I think we're sort of battling second and third. There was obviously Habby out in front. I think he was
Shannon.
Habby, then Shannon, then us, and Shannon and I were just kind of like going between second
Trading
and
blows.
third. But yeah, Habby was
He
just
was gone.
he was gone. He was really fast there. He did a great job. But yeah, unfortunately on the last lap, the last section was 2 laps. No, only 40 k's, and we went out behind Shannon, I think, in that section.
Yep.
And so we got to probably the second, third corner out off the start into the first straight, and then the car just died. So didn't really know what was going on there, and unfortunately, we just simple error was not an error, but it was just a broken wire off the alternator, which stopped the car. So we just had to look around and see what the issue could have been, and we basically almost had given up on that race because we couldn't sort of find what the problem was. But Kai just thankfully found a broken wire on the alternator, and we just got to work on that, fixed it, and got back going again. So we went from a potential second because Shannon had issues. I think he blew his motor or something. So with his issue, we would have been second. But anyway, that's racing. We went back to got the car going again, and I think we ended up finishing 10th overall. So still valuable points, but instead of gaining points back on the championship, we end up losing more points. So it was
Because where did Jake finish for that race?
no, I think it was 7th.
Seventh.
He finished 7th. Yeah, because he obviously had a bit of a bad weekend as well. I think he had Mick said he had a roll in qualifying, and then I think he blew a power steer pump, might have hit a tree, had a flat. So he had his own bit of a race going on, but he did obviously a really good job to get back going and keep going. And so he finished 7th, we finished 10th. So
That was a good race for us to get a good gauge on where the car was suspension wise. So you could just watch them. There was so many places that you could watch the cars through big holes and whatnot. And Foz is just a genius. He just sat there and he just watched, and he's like, I know what I need to do now. And from then you come back after every race, and Ryan and Kai get out of the car and they're like, oh, that was amazing. What did you do, Foz?
Yeah,
So
Love Day
it's,
really transformed the car because Foz just took all that information that he'd sort of, the way he saw the car, handle or not handle, he was just like not happy. But we came out of there, went to Rainbow, and the car was just a different beast. Like just throwing it in at the Rainbow qualifying track and
throwing it in at water tanks and rotating.
I don't know how we didn't tip it in qualifying. Maybe we might have if Foz hadn't done his thing. But it was Love Day was a good learning thing for us, I think.
Because that was some pretty wild footage there that we managed to see of that was in prologue, wasn't it? Where you come into that, I guess, the gate
Top
and
10 shootout.
top 10 shootout.
Oh, sorry, you're talking Rainbow.
Oh, that was
Yep.
Rainbow, was it?
Yeah, that was Rainbow. Yeah.
Not St. George.
We backed it in through the gate.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a bit of a moment.
Yep. So Love Day, come home from Love Day and sitting second in the championship still.
Still second. Yep.
Yep.
Jake's in the lead.
Yep. So then you had Rainbow after that.
Yep.
So another sort of bit of a varied result for you guys as well there.
Yeah, Rainbow, obviously, those that know, obviously, what happened there. But, we sort of came into that, and I think we qualified somewhere in the, I think it was 5th, maybe 4th or 5th. So, it was, the car was good. The track was very wet. It's always wet down there, down at Rainbow, but I don't think it was as wet as other years. You good, man? just some technical difficulties.
Yeah, one of the cameras.
Oh no! Hopefully the one looking at me. It was. Yeah, I killed it.
Gave up.
Rainbow was a different. We'd never been to Rainbow, so we'd never been to Pooncarie, never been to Love Day, never been to Rainbow. So all these tracks that we're learning, and they're all first for us. So, which was cool. Did enjoy the track. It was a bit of everything. It did sort of. It was almost like you'd driving through the track at Fraser and with all the sand, whoops and dunes and that. I thought it was going to come out the beach on the other side.
Yep. So a predominantly sand heavy track in it. I've never been to Rainbow myself, but yeah.
They say it's definitely a truck track, just with the way that I guess they could just drive over those dunes.
Runs up.
It does whoop out and run out pretty good. Yeah.
It would be some of the heaviest going I've been in a car, just with the sand, the whoops. Like you're trying to put that power down to the ground and you just got, literally racing on a beach and can't get any speed up. Like,
And it was all that. Rainbow was the race that we discussed. We had a strategy of go out and lay it down and get some points back off Jake.
Yep.
Or break.
Mm.
Because we knew the next one was Kalgoorlie. We just needed to not be so reliant on a big points deficit at Kalgoorlie. It's a long way to go.
Yep.
To sort of, hope. We've sort of, even though it was points and a half, we sort of looked at the people that were there and like, we needed a lot of fast guys.
Yep.
For Ryan to try and, make that happen.
Put cars between.
Yeah, to make it happen on merit as a, and not rely on an issue. So, the Rainbow, that's what the plan was as we got deeper into that event. And obviously, tragically, that didn't happen.
Yep.
So, it was the way that they worked the points out. I think you pulled a point and a half or something back off Jake.
No, it was half a point.
Half a point back
Half
off Jake.
a point, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'd lost points, since Fink and Love Day, we'd lost points.
Yep.
And kept getting further back. And then, like Mick said, Rainbow was half a point back. So, which, everything at that point counted. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's right. Because I guess that half a point, that was a position for you guys at Kalgoorlie. Yep.
Yeah, with the points and a half multiplier at Cal,
Yep.
So, it could have come down to that half a point, and it very nearly did too.
Went very close, very close. So then, I'm not a superstitious man, but I know we talked about it leading up to Kalgoorlie. There was a few things. So it was the 6th round of the championship.
Mm.
You had to beat Jake by 6 positions. Yeah. And
we were on 106 championship points.
And you're on 106 championship points.
Yep.
Do you kind of feel like the stars were aligning for you guys for that one?
I wouldn't say stars. I think the off-road gods.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, again, you sort of, whether or not you look for those kind of signs and things or not, or if they just appear, I don't know.
Yeah. Whether you believe in them or not.
But it
just making
definitely
yourself feel better.
Yeah.
Like since Fink, in my head, I just had the old boy, that saying that he always, drummed in was to finish first you got to finish.
Yep.
And to which my reply was always, well, to finish first, you got to beat everyone.
Yeah.
As the young cocky, old bull and young bull. I mean, and it was basically since Fink, I was like, right, okay, this is the moment where it's like, we need to first of all finish every race from here on in. We cannot afford a DNF.
Yep.
So to finish first, it was first we must finish. So everything was but at the same time it was like, well, it's kind of like a battle between we've got to finish,
but you've got to finish at pace,
but we still got to get points back. So it was just it was just a juggling act.
All year or between well sorry, probably not all year, but probably after round 2 at Pooncarie, you probably started to think championship, or after St. George was at it, you made the decision we're all in now, or
no, definitely Pooncarie I think was it was the turning point for us to go, well, hey, this is the position we're in, and we just got to have a crack. So
and both of those results were 100% on merit as well. So you have some confidence that right, we're going to go to the next one, and these two weren't. This is on merit. We've had people go, well, where'd all the pace come from? Didn't come from all of a sudden. If people have been paying notice or attention over the years, there's been really good pace. But silly little things, have
fuel cells, bloody,
just
V bands.
Just silly little things.
Well,
and if you look at, was it Gundy 2019? You had a 5-minute lead and we lost a fuel pump. So if you've been paying attention, was it
also
Fink 2019 second outright on the road home, like
behind I think it was Jack
Jack like
Rose won it that year.
Pretty comfortable pace, second outright, and then the V
go.
bands. And exactly like you said, there's probably the same V bands that are on it now and have held up.
No, they're welded.
They're welded on. Damn, son.
V what?
That is definitely a take a problem and just get rid of it.
We've engineered that solution.
Bit of pause magic.
That is the best. So
we send the turbos back to get rebuilt. We send everything
back. You send the exhaust manifold with them as well. That is brilliant.
You
But
get
yeah,
the Lord.
yeah. But I think you're right. That's exactly right. It's not like the pace has come out of nowhere. But yeah,
No,
Yeah.
it's all a recipe. You
Yep.
know, like it's not just one thing. It's a lot of things, and
Yep.
you know, you might get one bit of it right, but not the other bit.
Yep.
And you know, your cake tastes like shit. That's what it comes down to. You
Yep.
just need that whole recipe
Yep.
to make it all happen.
And a little bit
you
of
know,
luck.
The recipe keeps changing. The recipe evolves, and
Yep.
it's you know, we're lucky now that we can just continue to work on those 1%ers and
Yep.
and get those right. We're not chasing our tail, trying to
Yep.
you know, trying to get fast or trying to make things happen. But you know, once you're sort of there or thereabouts, you can just fine tune those little things, and
Yep.
which you know we've never been there, and it's a pretty cool place to be.
Yep.
So
then, yeah, Kalgoorlie obviously started off probably where everyone expected. You and Jake battling it out.
Yep.
And then Bo
Bo was always going to be fast
in there as well. Yeah, slipped
Yep.
in the middle. Yeah.
Yep. Well, Bo was just there, like he was obviously going for the win.
He was a bull in
That
a china
was-
shop. No
Yep.
dog in the
Yep.
fight. No nothing. He just wanted to win.
Yeah.
That's his home race,
Yep.
and would have definitely wanted to win it. So I think it was a great situation for you. Were you happy that not happy, that's not the right word, but how do you feel? Like, would have you rather been first on road and had Bo behind you? Or were you happy that it was Jake first on road, Bo, and then you after qualifying?
Yeah, I think that was a good position to be in, to
Yep.
be honest. Like, again, Kalgoorlie, we never raced there either. So there was all these, you know, we didn't know the track. And I just figured, well, you know, I would rather Bo be behind Jake than Bo be behind me. So I was quite happy to be in third and just sort of, I guess, being behind there, you know more of what's going on in front of you than being in front and trying to know what's going on behind you.
Yep.
So no, I was totally cool with that.
Yeah.
So credit where credit's due. Jake handled that scenario
really well.
unbelievably.
Yep.
You know, he drove so good.
For a relative, like, I won't call him a rookie because they did successfully race side by sides, and but for a relatively new competitor, yeah, he definitely did handle having Bo Robinson behind you, because that's a pretty
Daunting prospect.
scary proposition. Like, like if you could pick a few people to be behind you, like Greg Gardner would not be one.
Maybe
Whether it's in a race car, in a bar, or in a plane,
yeah.
you never want Bo Robinson behind you.
maybe the only thing good going for Jake was that Bo
Love you, Bo.
sold the truck.
Yes, yeah, that's right. So yep, obviously started off 1-2, like pretty much, or 1-3.
Yep.
Like that's where we thought. So then, did that change your mindset at all, or were you still thinking, I just need to hold my pace? I know what my pace is. I know what I'm comfortable with. I know what the car will do, and I need to let the race come to me? Or did you feel like you had to push and put pressure on?
Do you want me to answer this one, Ryan?
Yeah,
Well,
Clay. Yeah, actually,
Right,
this is
let's
a good
hear
one.
from Clay
Yeah,
first.
because this is obviously the. I guess I'm just curious because I guess through some of the commentary, I guess it was stated that, or through some of the information that was heard, it was stated that you were looking pretty nervous on the weekend on Saturday and Sunday.
Well,
And
I wasn't looking at me, mate.
well,
Saturday.
that's I guess what I'm asking, because I guess you, Ryan Taylor, I would classify you as a pretty cool, calm customer. And when you get behind the steering wheel, I feel like there's two monkeys smashing a cymbal together. There's not a lot going on, and that's what makes you a great race car driver. and you need the right person to guide you around. And I think so. I'm just curious as to how much you were thinking about the race, or you were just getting in the car and doing you. And Clay, I'm interested because you were there all weekend. Did you notice a difference in his persona, in the way he conducted himself on Saturday and Sunday compared to, say,
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. He I don't know. It was just nerves.
Yep.
You could see it. You
Yep.
know, like there was, and I get it. You know, there was 40 years riding on his shoulders that weekend, and it was yeah. We all just wanted it that bad.
Yep.
And you know, but at the end of the day, you know, he composed himself.
Yep.
He got in the car. You know, he just needed to stop thinking when he wasn't in the car.
Yep.
He needed to get in the car and just drive.
Yep.
That's,
Yep. So kind of the car was your happy place for the weekend. It was, say, everything else that went on with the race, like the waiting in between, obviously, like you said, pretty big pressure. Like your partner was there, like your Bryony was there, like Annette was there. Like obviously, a lot of the family had flown over to Western Australia as well. So yeah, obviously the waiting was the more difficult part on that Sunday.
Yeah, like it was. Sorry, Mick, you're
I
gonna.
was just going to say that to answer your first question was the I guess the strategy was Jake out first, Bo second, Ryan third. The strategy was to stay as close to Bo as possible.
Yes.
And try and beat him by 1 second if possible. And the smart money would have been Bo chasing down and catching Jake.
Yep.
So, and Jake was probably in the box seat for the championship at that point in time.
Yep.
Because all he had to do was finish, within a certain amount of positions of Ryan. So, but also Jake being a racer, Jake doesn't want to win the championship without winning a race or getting on the podium. So, he probably had some
there was a lot of
head
stake.
noise going on as well. So
Yes.
the plan for the first section was just to stick with Bo, try and get that second on him, so you're starting in front of him for the next one, and put Bo between Ryan and Jake. And then also, you had Elphinstone, you had Truella, there was some other fast guys there that we really needed to lean on.
Yes.
To do that. And Jake, to his credit, didn't let them get anywhere near that. So,
after that, that was our strategy for the first lap.
Yes.
After that, for the second lap, we're like, well, we've got no strategy now.
Yep.
We need something to happen.
Yes.
To reignite a strategy.
Yep.
So, that first lap on Sunday, and we had Michael, he was at home just watching the tracking and getting all the information he could.
Yep.
And
then obviously relaying it to you guys as quickly as he could. Yep.
So I was at the 60K mark on a radio. So when the boys came past the 60K mark, we could communicate with them and say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what we need to do.
Yes.
And I said to the boys before they left, and I said, I'm going to tell you one or two things. I'm going to tell you to push, or I'm going to tell you to hold.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yep.
And so Jake had a drama on that second lap, and we're like, beauty.
Yep.
Strategies come.
It was a flat tire, wasn't it?
Yep. So strategies come back to us. And so I'm sitting there, and I stole one of the recovery guys' radios, and boys had come past, and I'm like, push, push, push.
Yes.
Knowing full well that they'd passed Jake. And, they would have thought, oh, he's out.
Yeah.
We'll just take it easy. So
Yes.
I'm like, push, push.
Yeah.
And then
because obviously you didn't want them to rest on their laurels knowing that it was only a flat tire and that Jake was going to be back in the hunt and obviously pushing hard. Yes.
Correct. And but Ryan over here thought he knew better. And he's come back and he's dropped a minute and a half to Bo. And I'm like, what the hell's going on, Ryan?
Yeah. Yeah. So did you think he said push, or you weren't sure, or you radio communication a bit scratchy? Because I mean, there is a lot going on in a race car.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Yeah. Damn it. I was about to make something up there. No, he clearly said push. And I'm just like, hang on. Did he see Jake back there? Did he how did he know what's going on here? Like, so in my head, and, I was like, well, what's the big picture here? Like, are we all on the same page here? Like, and I know that Clay was like, push or whatever. So I was just, and I saw Jake. And when we went past Jake, I was like, he's not in any rush. Like, if you change the tire, like, I'm just like running them, working up a sweat.
Yep.
Jake's cool as a cucumber.
Yep.
So I'm just like, okay, well, what's So I didn't know. I actually didn't know what the issue was.
Yes.
So obviously,
I did.
We know. Yeah, but you just said push. You didn't say tire, or you want to break it into conversation.
Do we need to cut the feed and cut camera so you boys can go and knuckle it out?
Yeah. With a bit of wood.
So anyway, clearly I Clay knew what was going on.
Yes.
And again, I should have probably just been like, sweet, push. But in my head, I was like, okay, don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Again, I pushed, but I didn't push hard.
Yep.
So to me, it was like, okay, let's finish this lap and let's regroup, see where we're at.
Yep.
So, and again, we'll learn from that, or I'll learn from that. But so, that was lap 2 done.
Lap 2 done.
Yep.
And then lap 3, much of a plan there, or like, because I guess
Yep.
one of the things looking outside as well is obviously still a fair chunk of pressure. Like going into that last lap, I thought that on a personal level, I didn't think that anything was wrapped up in particular. Like I think you guys were second on road and Jake was 30, 11th overall.
I think.
Yep. So there wasn't
overall, but not on road. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
the
yep.
rules are that you start the next section where you finish the last.
Yes,
So I think Jake started out of 32nd or
Yes,
something like
yep.
that.
but was still yep. And
you
a
know,
lot of those cars were relatively slow cars.
Correct.
Like he should have been able to get around pretty quickly, and he might have been.
It was achievable.
It was
Yeah,
it was
100%
achievable.
It would have been an interesting finale
Yes.
to see
What had happened.
what would have
Oh,
happened
yeah,
because he started at 30 something. And I was like, well, okay, he's only got to get inside. I think if we finish second, I think
He needed
we need
ninth.
six points, 6 positions.
He
behind.
had to get into sixth position. So the way that it ended up,
Seventh, I think. So 6 positions were clear. If he was inside 6 positions, so it was 8th. He had to get into 7th. I think that's what it was. So,
Yep.
yeah, and which again was achievable because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
only
yeah,
Yeah,
11th.
not saying it was easy, but
No,
it
no,
wa-
no,
it-
no.
because
No,
of the,
yeah.
the dust and passing
yeah,
with the
it-
slower cars. So
it was
it
achievable.
would have been. He definitely could have
Oh,
done it,
Yeah,
and it would have been
close.
Would have been,
but yeah, you definitely couldn't just. Oh, I'm just going to cut this lap at
Yeah.
30%. All
No.
I've got to do is finish that.
Yeah.
That was not on the cards.
Oh,
for you
not after
guys.
I just been chewed out in the pits after lap 2. I was like, man, I'm just going to go for it. So I did.
Yeah,
And then, someone's radio didn't work at the 60K mark.
no,
and then
I'll
had
tell
to-
you what happened there.
Oh, here we go.
We're not at 90 Ks yet, mate. So we both had a moment at the 60K mark on
Yeah.
different laps. But
Yeah.
again, it was
Turns out when you push the charge port on a radio, it doesn't transmit.
Ah, copy. Simple
too,
stuff.
too many years out of the electrician life. I think.
Yeah. Hands gone too soft, just typing on that keyboard all the
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, so then last lap, did you get the info that Jake had blown a motor early on, or no? So
No.
you just said you had an issue at the
Yeah.
60.
So
Yes.
We so the 60K mark, I tried to transmit via the charge port and it didn't work.
Yes.
So we managed to jump in the car and we run down the road, and there was a road crossing. So we pulled up at the road crossing, and I stole the Lollipop Ladies radio,
Yes.
jammed it back to 13.
So you were the stop go man for
Yeah,
a while.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
So then so I got on the radio to them then, and
Yep.
that's where they knew.
Yep. So at that point in time, then did you have to finish that lap still? Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah.
'Cause if
'cause
you don't finish the
you
race,
don't get the
no
overall
champion
points.
point.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. So
that's
there's
right.
the championship points are based on your overall finish, not section points.
have to
Yes,
finish,
have to
yep.
finish overall.
Yep.
Yep.
So if we didn't finish, and I did think about this, I'm like, oh crap, if we didn't finish and then Jake didn't finish, then obviously then we move back and then
Yes.
opens up. So really coming into Kalgoorlie,
Truck wins.
Ugh.
yeah. So yeah, like coming into Kalgoorlie, the championship was still
Still
open.
wide
Like
open.
it
Wide
could have
open.
gone 6 different ways.
Yes.
which was really cool that
Yep.
it came down the last race and
Last lap.
and the last lap in
Yep.
this case. So
Yep.
like going back to what you were asking the question before, like we were in a position like, we were third. We started out of third. So at that point, it was like, well, we're either going to go to win Kalgoorlie,
Yep.
or we're here to win the championship,
Yep.
or both.
Yep.
That was the mindset and the game
Yep.
plan.
I like it. And then it all paid off.
Yep.
Copy. And Mick, where were you? And you were home at this point in time.
I was at my dining table
Yes.
just watching little dots on the computer screen.
Going round and round.
Yeah, and when it all got done, it was it was.
Did you flip the dining table over? Did you like just grab it, just do a big?
Yeah, it was
Almost did it.
It was pretty surreal actually.
Yep.
Like just all that that effort and
Yep.
It was just up and down all season and get to that last event and to the last lap and it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah. This is it.
Yep.
You just got to keep making points.
Yep.
That's when you think you're done, you're not.
Yep.
Just keep making points and see what happens.
Yeah.
And if we hadn't had those issues, like were minor issues. So one, and I'll still take it as we fucked up at Fink.
Yep.
Hit a tree. Okay. The car all year. So the only thing that happened to the car all year was a broken alternator wire.
Yes.
That was it.
Yep.
And I don't remember a year where we finished every single race that we've entered. And it was just, and if we didn't have those issues, like
I don't remember the last time we broke an alternator wire.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I can remember the last time you hit a tree, but
were you in it? Hey, look.
That's a bit cold-blooded.
Yeah,
No, but you're
yeah.
right. You're right. But I think was it you and me, Mick, that were talking about this after Kalgoorlie, where we said like, think was for you guys was kind of like a championship defining run, like to get home, like particularly with the way the AIRC points are structured, like there's no real massive gap for throwing down for a win to compared to getting fifth. So like you said, every point, every pass is a position.
Yeah.
So to get that car home for that race, I think, like you said, really defined your championship. I think that was probably a point where you guys were like, you'd had your bad race, like, and it did end up being your bad race. Like you had your bad race, but you still managed to salvage some points out of it, which I think were super critical at the end of the championship.
Oh, absolutely. Because, if we didn't get those points there, then would have reevaluated the whole season, and then after Love Day, you go, okay, well, oh crap, we're X amount of points, do we go, don't we go, is it worth it? Like, obviously a lot more things have to fall our way for it to happen.
Yes.
But yeah, like if we didn't have those issues along the way, and I'm not like winning a championship isn't easy, and I'm glad it didn't come easy.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Like, like we had our issues and we overcome them, and we had our issues earlier on or mid-season,
We got 40 years before that.
You've had your issues, bro.
Yeah, well, I guess so. Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, it was. Yeah. It was. The story. It came down to the last. Lap of the last race.
Yes.
And that's a pretty darn cool story. And credit to the Swinglehurst. They just had an amazing first
they
year,
pushed you
and
all the way.
They came out swinging.
They did. The Swingos were swinging.
Well,
but
pardon the pun.
And I feel like like Jake had an awesome year. I'm sure he's super happy, but I of course he's probably a little bit bummed that
the fairy tale didn't play out.
Yeah, and
and as happy as we are for us, we're gutted for them as well.
Yeah. I think that's exactly right. Like, and it was actually cool. Like, it was really hard, like all season, because it's like fighting your mate. It's like me and Jake, and then we'd sort of have a bit of a chat, and then people would be like, "It'd be so much easier if you guys hated each other."
There'd be a storyline here or something like that.
So, and I don't know, if I said it in any of the speeches and stuff and whatnot, like people, and I just wanted to sort of take the opportunity to say, Jake had a great year, and I'm glad that it was, we had that, battle between us, and I really respect, his year and what they've done. I think they've shown a lot of people that the class act that they are and how competitive they are. And look out for 2023, and then
two of them,
two cars. God help us with Tom behind the wheel.
Bit of a wild man is Tom.
Never met him.
The Swindle Hopper.
Look, we won't turn this into the Tommy Swinglehurst show, but anyway.
But I get what you're
Jump
saying.
in your car, Tom. We're going to be here a while, mate.
Put some pants on.
Yeah, righto. I mean, are you guys wearing pants? Anyhow, that's another story for another time.
But no.
Copy. But you're right. Like, you're glad that it wasn't just sort of everyone had bad 2 or 3 rounds and then pulled out of the championship, and then it was essentially you guys just racing yourselves. Yep. So I'll ask a question then. What do you guys think about the way the points are structured in AORC? Like, is it a little disappointing that, say, Tom didn't even end up on the podium overall? Jake, sorry.
Tom didn't race. It's not really that disappointing.
Tom was on the podium. Just not the one at the racetracks.
He was best on ground, but for a different reason.
Drunk on ground.
Jeez, Tom's getting a flog.
Hey, Tom. He wishes.
But that, I guess, one DNF at Kalgoorlie, that was their only DNF. Yeah. And that ended up plummeting them essentially from first to fourth.
I think fourth.
Yeah. So is it like, do you think there needs to be a bit of a restructure of the points. And like, obviously, this is just, there's nothing behind this. It's just me spitballing. I personally think there needs to be a bit of a restructure. I don't think there's enough reward for throwing down for a win or second or third. And essentially, if you have one bad race, it's pretty hard to even end up on a podium. And I think that is creating, we have awesome first half of the season to think, and then say if people look at it and they go, man, I'm not even in the hunt. Like, I think it sort of drops off at the end of the year.
There's got to be incentive for people to keep turning up.
Yes.
You know, and to keep the championship alive. So to not have, I guess, you know, Shannon, Howes, and Bo even to re-enter the championship. You know, obviously Bro did at the end.
Yes,
but I mean,
for their local race.
Yeah, like I mean, I get if you're going to have bad races, like, you know, we've had bad races, so you know, and you gauge your championship after that. But I mean, the fact that there's only a 1 point gap between positions is probably the biggest thing they need to address. Is that, you know, they need to keep the people in the hunt and in the championship. And you know, that championship point scheme could have probably worked against us this year. Who knows? You know, like and you got to look at the point scheme and go, okay, well, what do I need to do to win?
Yes.
And we've never really looked at that before until this year.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess next year when they address it, and I believe they will. We'll obviously have to work out, well, how do we structure our race?
It's a fine line
season.
though, because you know you want to keep people in the championship. And you want to keep people racing. But you also want to make sure that you reward the people that are you know, on the podiums and winning races. And you know, so if you break it down to sections, well, you could have someone that's, you know, won 2 sections and didn't finish a 3rd section every race. And they're still in the hunt for the championship.
Yeah.
You know?
So
I guess, sorry,
I don't think we need to break it down to sections.
Well, the point that I guess I'll make on Clay's comment there is that, you know, coming into Kalgoorlie, I think that we were in the lead on the class championship, but Jake was winning the outright championship. So if somebody wins the outright championship, that didn't necessarily mean they win their class. So that it seems a bit
crazy,
like weird, right? So I guess that might be something they need to address, but I don't know how they'll address it. But
they need some mathematician that's a lot smarter than we are. To figure this out, because it's
4 busted ass electricians. We're not coming up with a good idea.
We can sit there and rag them out all we like, but we don't have an answer for them. So
I know you just work out which black box fits a different car. Like
I don't even do that anymore.
I totally agree with having to finish the event to get your outright championship points. But when you break it down, a 15th outright, so a 15th and a 14th outright equals 1 first. So as far as the points go. So you can go out and win a race. You can have someone who finishes.
Hang on, does that add up to 31?
15 and
29.
14. Because you get 1 extra point than you did for 15th. So about that. So say a 14th and a 15th gets you the same amount of points as winning an event. So I think there's definitely needs to be.
So you could have. So what you're saying is, if someone wins a race and then DNFs the next, a guy they got 15th. Let's just say 15th is essentially on the same points.
So if there's any mathematicians out there, please chime in.
I'll get JC Senior onto the job. see what he can come up with. But
look, we need a whiteboard.
Need Larko.
Look, you're never going to get it exactly right, because sometimes it's going to work for you, sometimes it's going to work against you, and it is what it is. But you know, I just think there needs to be more reward for laying it down and not even just to win podiums.
Because I feel like there might be people that say if there was a fairly decent point, I'm not saying like monumental, but if there was a good points gap for winning, you might have seen a few people come to some of the later rounds, and all that does is make our product stronger. Better. It's like saying if the V8 supercars, when they, I can't win the championship anymore, I'm just not coming to the races. Like the product's gonna taper off and get weaker as the season goes on. So I just want to see it to encourage that we have full fields of some of our best drivers and best cars at every round.
And I think they're going back to 5 rounds next year. So from 6. So 6 is a hard task.
That was the other one.
We
6 rounds this year.
6 rounds. That was the other one.
That was the other one.
There you go.
You idiot. Why the hell did you pick this year? to actually like. Sorry, Mum, but
Put
to
it all
actually
together.
get your shit together and put it all down, you picked the year that there
Yeah.
was 6 rounds.
Yeah. And what? So if you add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2, what's that?
6.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
2022.
Come on.
Coffee.
Did you just?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Anyway,
I'm,
a lot
I'm
of
still
sixes.
just I'm still just stunned that
What
it
if you
was this
minus
year.
a 0 out though? What's that get you?
Or if you multiply by 0, it all becomes
Ooh.
0.
Yeah.
So I guess if you didn't compete in the championship this year, you would have finished 0. But yeah,
Yeah.
you dumbass. Like, of all the years to get it together, like, it was only, 2019? They only had 3 rounds.
Mm.
Why didn't you get it together that year?
Yeah, I know.
You could have saved a lot of time.
Heaps cheaper. Would have been heaps cheaper.
Would have been heaps cheaper.
Really? Is it as a driver? Is that my you putting that all on me?
Yes.
Yes.
God damn it! Yes.
We should have got this done years ago.
Yeah.
Saved ourselves a whole heap of time and money.
Funny. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Mm.
championship wrapped up. We are talking about a championship year back to defend next year. That's on the cards, or it's going to be suck it and see after the first round.
You have to talk to my sponsors. We going to all the rounds?
You're not looking at your sponsors for next year.
Damn it. I'll get a net on the phone.
Yeah. Hang on, look down the camera. Yeah.
No, we're
Put your gooey eyes on RT.
we've got some really good leads for some support next year. So
Yes.
we're the goal is, and the plan is to go defend it for next year. And we've got some really good partners and some new partners and companies that haven't been in off-road racing before. So that's pretty exciting.
Yep.
And,
Beautiful.
So yeah, to answer your question, Josh.
Yes.
Game on.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Love
Defend.
it. Defend. And will you be running the 1 or the 6?
What would you run, Josh?
It's a tough one. I'm trying to work out. We're just looking at the numbers behind Ryan's head. I'm trying to work out how you can incorporate the 1 and the 6. Feel like you'd have to run the 1.
Yeah, definitely the 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look, we haven't been doing this long.
Yep.
To not put it on the car.
Yeah.
So definitely the 1.
Yep.
The 6 is always in here.
Yes.
The 1 will be on the car.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me touching on it,
What?
no, obviously.
Again?
Oh, no. Obviously.
Let me get Tom on the phone.
Yeah. Obviously, a bit of emotional year as well. This is the first year Team Taylor. You can tell me to stop if you want, but Team Taylor racing without the big boss, Nev Taylor.
Second year.
Second year of. Did you do the championship last year?
Oh, we went to Fink.
Sorry,
as far as Fink. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I
The
meant
full.
first year back, competed in the full championship. Did that weigh on you pretty heavy coming into the final round? Like feeling like it was all a bit of an omen, or just?
It was definitely an emotional year all year. Like the whole thing. Like, again, sort of going back to St. George and a second there and a first at Pooncarry. Like everything was emotion. Everything was tied to an emotion because we were doing things that we'd never done before.
Yep.
And it did feel like, certain things were happening, but things were falling into place. And okay, cool. Okay, things are going well. And then into later in the year, but it was and then obviously we always Team Taylor, family, everyone, if you know, sort of thing, So and it was hard because we're all working, we all have jobs to do, and then not being able to have everybody at the race as well, which is a bit foreign to me. I'm used to having everyone there, and and obviously including mum and dad and all that sort of stuff. So, and not having Mick and Clay at all the races, and even Brian and the kids, and and everybody.
Yes.
And it was almost like, okay, we're going to do a job. We've got to go to Pooncarry, got a job to do.
Yep.
And we go to Fink, and then we obviously had a bit of a crew at Fink, and then then go down to Love Day. So it was like we're doing it, and I definitely felt the support of everybody. Like it was, people back at work. Like Mick couldn't make it to the races, and Clay couldn't make it to some races, and that sort of stuff. But we all had a job to do and a part to play in it. And it was the whole emotion of the whole thing. Just and there was a lot riding on it, and for everybody. And coming down to the last round, I sort of handballed it up into the clouds up there, and I was just like, mate, I've done all I can. I need a bit of your help. It was we need a bit of help from up above, Dad and Donnie the dough banger,
Go
you know,
right.
Zuma, Les,
Yep.
it was like all those sort of off-road legends, and it might sound a bit weird or corny
No,
or
no.
stupid,
Yeah.
and I might feel like an idiot saying it, but I was just like, you know what, we are
Yeah.
doing the
Yep.
best that we can. We're
Yep.
we're throwing everything at this.
Yep.
And you know what? If it's our time, it's our time.
Yep.
And that's I sort of had to become a bit, I guess, at peace with it a little bit and just
Yes.
go, well,
Become a
if
passenger.
it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yep.
And I just need to let it happen.
Yep.
And that was it for me. Like, yes, it was stressful at Kalgoorlie, just trying to, I was in my own head a
Yes.
lot. And then, getting in the car, that was the easy bit.
Yep.
Getting over the thoughts and the strategy and what to do and all that sort of stuff. That was the hard thing.
Yep.
But I just, at the end of it, I just I got over worrying about it.
Yep.
And just sort of thought, well, what will be will be.
Yep.
And we'll be okay with that. Like,
Yep.
we'd already done some first. We'd got our first outright win.
Yep.
I was just like, that's
that's a huge weight lifted.
if
Yep.
that's what we take out of this year.
Yep.
Then I'm cool.
Yeah, that's an amazing building block for
Yep.
2023.
Yeah. But
Yep.
obviously the goal was to win.
Yep. So then, like you said, it was sort of a bit of a year of firsts for you guys and stuff like that. So while we talk about firsts, Mick, your first off-road race, racing dinosaurs around.
No. Believe it or not, it was actually Gundawindi
Yes.
in the second Baja. So
The Peugeot one?
No,
no,
No?
2180.
no, the Volkswagen 2180.
Remember that 2180 that went in your street car?
Yeah.
So the proper Baja.
With no brakes.
And it's quite a funny story happened at that event. So I was in Dad's retired previous Baja with the 2180 in it,
The 444.
444.
Yeah.
And then
I was the
Dad,
dumbass beside him.
and then Dad had, was it
It was the Renault.
the Renault powered one?
Yeah.
So the 401 car.
Yeah.
So out of
So a
Gundy-
Renault powered bug.
Baja.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the
1.6 turbo water
turbo.
injected.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was the 100K lap Gundy, and it was first lap. I'd passed Dad on the side of the racetrack, so we must have got about 50, 60K in, and the Dad was on the side of the track, and he was waving me past, and I thought, oh, that's him, he's out.
Yep.
And I caught up to another Baja through some of the melon hole sections. So we had these two Bajas, myself and the one in front, and we were just sort of wallowing through the melon hole section, and all of a sudden I feel this whack from behind. I'm like, what was that? Because I was just focusing on the car in front of me. I was about to give him a little nudge, and then I just got this massive big hit from behind, and then all of a sudden Dad comes flying past me in the melon holes. I was like, holy shit. And I thought he hit me because he was pissed at me for holding him up.
Yeah.
And we get to the back to the pit after the 100K lap, and I'm like, oh, sorry. He's come up to me like, oh, sorry, guys. He says, you braked as I accelerated off a melon hole, and I just landed in the back of you. So it was my first race, my first shunt, and it was by Dad, and he was more upset because it stove the rear cage in onto the new Flash 4-into-1 Stinger exhaust system on the
Yes.
back of the Baja.
Yes.
So yeah,
We rolled it not much past that though, didn't we?
no, not that race.
Was it not that race?
No, it wasn't that race.
Yeah.
I rolled the Baja at Gatton.
No, we rolled it at Gundy. Definitely.
Maybe you rolled it at Gatton and Gundy.
I think you did too.
I don't think there's a race that Michael didn't roll it, to be honest. but
Really?
Yeah, I've been over a few times.
He's good at making canoes.
Yeah.
Boat racing.
And then
But
Clay?
Ryan holds the record of was it only
Oh.
only rolling a car that he doesn't own?
Yeah.
No, well, I changed that.
Oh,
I rolled the Razorback.
yeah, I was
with,
gonna say,
with
well,
Izzy in it.
yeah.
The,
Oh,
the
Captain
torso.
Luke the long torso.
That's because the center of gravity was off with the torso in it. But yeah, I was about to say you did roll the Razorback. So before that, it was only cars that you didn't own.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
smart.
It was
Smart.
a perfect crime. Like, really, yeah.
Perfect crime.
I had to have a good, wrecker of Volkswagen bodies.
Yes.
Yeah, it was almost like a body erase.
Yeah. So you reckon that Team Taylor is pretty responsible for
The shortage of Volkswagens.
Volkswagen bodies?
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably
Yeah.
more
And
responsible for a
gearboxes.
shortage of Volkswagen gearboxes, I'd say.
So who was the main bandit for destroying gearboxes?
Well, back in the day when they were plentiful, we'd actually go to a race with a broken VW gearbox and you'd burn it as a sacrifice to the racing god, so you didn't break a gearbox in the race. The Volkswagen
magnesium.
gearbox is made of
Made of
magnesium.
That's what I was about to say. So they would, but but
They
they're
make a heck
magnesium.
of a heck of a campfire.
How-
I'll give you some advice though.
yeah.
Don't do it in a barbecue under someone's veranda.
And
Yeah.
don't try and put it
Okay.
out with water.
And don't cook on it.
The food tastes a little funny.
Yeah, a little bit.
And don't look at it directly.
That's if you can see the food that you're trying to cook.
You'll have purple spots in your eyes for weeks.
It's like the sun. That's cold. So then, Clay, you got behind the wheel at any certain point
Yeah.
in time?
How
How
has
many?
been 401?
How?
Yeah.
How?
There you go.
Red Baja.
Red Baja.
Yep.
Yep.
Greg Campbell's old Baja.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Copy.
What year was that? I don't know.
It was you ran it at
I'm
Swan
going
Bank?
to
Swan
say
Bank?
2000.
That's actually a pretty funny story.
Well, hit us with it.
Well, so Swan Bank, all I had to do was finish the race to get 401. So I had Tammy's uncle, Uncle Russell. He was in the navigator's seat, and last thing Dad said to me before he took off was, "Mate, you just got to finish. Just take it easy. You just got to finish." So we're sitting on the start line, two by two start.
who with?
I don't know.
Right.
Can't
Some
remember.
loser that's not the 401.
So we're sitting there, lights gone green, like right, second gear, round the corner, into the ruts, rolled it. First corner. Just like, oh man, all I had to do was finish.
So you didn't finish the race, or no?
Yeah,
You got
yeah,
out.
we
and
got
ro-
out,
yeah,
we
yeah.
rolled it back on
Yeah.
its wheels and finished the race. Got the 401.
You were navigating for him at the Ryan? No,
No,
who was navigating for you?
Tammy's uncle.
Oh,
Russell.
yes. Sorry, you said
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You said
yeah.
that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, but yeah, we ended up finishing.
Yes.
Got the 401. So
So how many rounds was it that year? Wasn't six?
I'm
was
going to
it?
say 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
praise
I'd
the
say.
Lord. I'm like a dumbass little brother over
Dumbass.
here.
But what's
Two things. the hard
what's
way.
4 plus 1? Oh, no, it's 5.
5.
Yeah.
So
But that was my first race.
yes.
I'm going to say it was Echo Valley in Toowoomba.
Oh wow.
Yeah, short course.
Yep.
Driving the same Baja that Mick rolled and Ryan rolled.
Yeah, I rolled it too.
So
Yeah.
does that mean all of you at some point
I
in
didn't
time
roll it.
you didn't?
I didn't roll some. I only rolled my own car.
What, you just said you rolled it on like the first
It's my
corner.
own car, not
Yeah,
someone else's
No,
car.
but all I'm saying is Mick rolled it, you
Let him
rolled it,
finish,
and
mate.
Ryan
Yeah.
rolled it.
Yes.
Would
Did
you
that-
expect anything else?
No,
Hey,
true.
Josh, have you rolled it?
I haven't rolled that one. Never did
Yeah.
never ever roll it.
How many times?
Yeah, coffee.
Yeah.
So then
He rolled your car.
everyone's rolled my car. So
I've
401.
rolled your car.
Yeah.
Another
See?
canoe.
See, everyone's
No, it
rolled.
had its wheels.
Yeah, I have knocked wheels off it, unfortunately, which is a sad day.
Was
But-
the only roll that Dad did over at Hayden?
That
I
wasn't
think
a
so.
roll.
No, that was.
No.
That was just a launch and then a.
Oh, she landed on the back
Oh,
engine
yeah.
frame.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Every other car rolled it. I think the Alpha rolled it there. James Madden
James
rolled it.
Madden.
Yeah.
It was a bit
Yeah,
of a
that
pile
was
up.
a bad situation. That
They were all rolling into each other as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
I think
it was-
Dad and Haley were in the car at the time, and then
we went
Dad
over it.
was like, "Don't get out yet," because he could hear the other car coming behind him. It was like,
yes.
"Rah," and then doof,
Yeah.
doof, doof, doof,
Yeah.
And a
Dad's
car
like,
rolled on top of the Jimco.
"Oh, it might have
Or it
leant
hit him.
against it."
Yeah.
We,
Did
we
it?
can
Did
tell you this now that you own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
No.
promise you, I've probably done much worse to it. But
So that was Hayden, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So end of it, like it was like
Because you and I were in the Razorback.
The Razorback. We hit that embankment.
Yep.
We went straight up. and
You
we-
told me to woo up, and I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
you
why.
didn't listen.
yeah.
that's why you
I
did.
tried not
Oh,
to.
hang on. I've got another story about woo up.
So we've all navied for Ryan here. Do you reckon we could all tell pretty much the same story about?
I don't think
How-
I've navigated for you. Have
Haven't
I?
you?
Yeah. Well, we should fix that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, right.
Ryan and I had an argument along the end, like a straight.
Yes.
It was like a sixth gear
Yeah,
argument.
we were
Yeah.
flat. We were flat. So it was flat out at Hayden, and I don't. You've seen the track at Hayden, the
There's footage of Pinto hitting that.
the changes sort of levels.
Yes.
So we were flat out, then you'd sort of go up this sort of embankment, and then you'd go again. And we were flat out, top gear. And I'm saying, righto, we're going to get to that rise, and we're going to just come back. And he's like, why? I said, just do it. And then we're still flat out. We're getting closer, and the argument's getting a little more tense. and I'm like, dude, just lift. And he's like, why? And he didn't. And we fucking sailed for as far as I'd ever gone in a race car. The car tipped up. I thought we were going to end her. We landed on the front wheel, and I hit him, and I said, "That's fucking why."
Hang on. I said, what was on the other side? And you're like, nothing. And I'm like,
that's right. Yeah. He was trying to talk me out of it. He goes, "Yeah, what's the other side?" I'm like, "Nothing." So why am I warming up? And by then we'd hit it. Because it was the first lap. We're not raced there before the year before.
Yes. Yep.
And yeah.
Those were the big jumps coming down along like
No,
a fence line?
No, not that. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and it's
Yes.
kind of it's just
it's a paddock.
it's just a step up rise.
It's almost like Kempsey where it had the drop off.
Yep.
Yes,
You were
but
going,
the
you're going the
reverse
other
of it.
way,
Yeah,
yeah.
copy.
So
there's nothing on the other side.
Well, my story about
Yeah.
Ryan is it was first year at Gatton. Did that? Yeah.
Lockyer Valley.
Lockyer Valley. That's
Valley, yeah.
right. First year at Lockyer Valley
Tatum won.
in Tatey 1. And there was this section of road where you would go up and it had like a road embankment. And you used to have to get like power fairly well up the hill and then onto the road embankment and turn left. And every time we went up there, I was like, you need to woo up, man, because we got to turn left onto the road. But it dead set looked like, well, there was sun. So you couldn't really see. So every time we went up this embankment, he'd just hold it flat. And we jumped the embankment, we jumped the road cutting, and then on the other side, we had to turn around and come down. So the next lap, I'm like, Bud. So we get out, and I was like, remember we talked about this? He's like, man, make it really obvious on the next lap. So the next lap, I'm like hitting the dash, like, oi, this is what we're talking about. And he just pulls another gear, and we jump the road crossing. So my solution on the third lap was I actually turned the isolator off. So the car stalled, and then turned it back on, and we made it. We made it. We actually made the corner.
I thought you were going to say the solution was you're going to throw up.
No. I'd already done that multiple points at that time.
Was it blue Powerade?
Red. It was a red Powerade on a white race suit. It was the dumbest combination ever.
Hey, Josh, put your race suit back on for the photo.
Yeah. Do you know that? I guess my claim to fame is they actually made a rule in AIRC based on that because I didn't have a race suit on for a photo, so then they wrote it in the subregs that you had to wear your race suit in your photo. So then I had to go up on the podium with like spew all over my race suit. And I remember saying to Murray, like, this is why I didn't have it on at the last round. He's like, yeah, right. So,
We need to put an amendment in that rule.
yeah. So because it was
Unless you're Josh Curran.
because it was red Powerade. But I still successfully say that it used to work well because you used to drive faster when I was throwing up. I think you had really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I wanted you out of the car.
No, I think you just wanted me to throw up more.
Maybe.
Well, he figured every time you threw up, the car got lighter.
How many navigators did you go through at Sea Lake, Ryan?
Oh, that was a good race. There's a story. Yeah, the old boy was the only one that could keep. Who jumped in at the end. I think it was
me first.
You started.
Bobby Strawbridge.
Bob
Bob Strawbridge. So.
Well, wasn't the old boy didn't ever just stay in because it was him or nobody?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You were out.
So he was handed a helmet full of spew,
Yeah.
which Fridgie was just kind of like just
Scooping shit out.
getting it out and then rinsed it out with water and then handed Dad this helmet and Dad is like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
I got to go.
I got no choice but to
Yeah.
actually be part of
Yeah.
this.
So,
Rookies. Just throw up and keep going.
Yeah. So I had the choice. So when Mick was like legitimately crook, all right, so he was lying in the trailer, was like, oh, he can't get back in. So then it was like, okay, well, we've got Bob Strawbridge and then Kerry Martin, sorry.
Yeah.
So I was between those two there, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I need someone to jump in, and and I was like, oh, well, I think Bobby Strawbridge knows the track and whatnot, so we'll go with a bit of an old head, you know,
Bit of
through
local
a
knowledge.
Bit of local
bit of
knowledge.
local knowledge and whatnot. So he jumped in, and then he's like, oh yeah, I've just finished lunch and whatnot.
Had a hot dog.
He did. He literally had a hot dog. It was a hot dog.
I had bacon and cheese and onion.
Oh. I was like, oh
Extra
man,
gravy.
you've been around a while, mate. You'll be fine, like whatever. So he didn't seem concerned, so I wasn't.
Yeah.
And then he jumped in, and I think it was about halfway around at Sea Lake, and up comes the hot dog. So,
And then he threw up. No.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know whether it's a certain driving style that you have, or maybe the way it is, because
This was all
everyone.
pre-GPS too.
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
throws up.
yeah.
At some point, everyone throws up.
Yep. DC navied for you after you rolled it. Did he throw up?
No, so DC jumped in for Gundy after.
Luke?
So Dad and I burnt the get. Danny Curran.
Little Jura.
Yep.
Yep, you guys.
So Danny was in for
Luke,
Gundy.
Luke and DC shared duties.
at the same year. So
Yes.
after we rolled it. So
Yep.
then Danny jumped in. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Lukey got scared after the roll and Daddy jumped in.
He was still recovering from his head and neck injuries.
Compressed his
He-
torso.
Yeah, I got a photo of that, like of the
helmet.
the bent roll, and his head's above it.
Yeah, yeah.
So his head probably did touch the ground.
It
to be
probably
honest.
did. Couldn't have
Um,
done him any harm.
No, no, shorten him up a bit.
But make the legs match the rest of the body.
Love you, Luke.
We love you. And
Um,
congratulations, he's just had his second kid.
He
as
did?
well. Yeah,
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 Good
yeah.
on you, Lukey.
Yeah, well done.
Yep. going well.
Yep.
Yeah, I spoke to him the other week. Everything's going good.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we see Tatey one back on the course sometime soon. That little rocket, beautiful little
The
car.
Red Rocket.
Yep, yep. Red rocket.
I feel like we haven't spoken about the race co enough.
The race co.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say, do you know, I saw a Instagram story the other day, and I did spot the race co in the back because the race co's back at Wilson's.
Yep.
Hey,
Yep.
yep, 100%. Then the race
Back
co.
home.
The
Was
race.
it Brad Zacco? I think he might have put something up.
No, it was. Man, my brain is shocking. Way too much social media. My brain does not work. Man, who was it? It was the guys. Anyhow, doesn't matter. It'll come to me later on. But yeah, it was a pan around Wilson Motorsports, and you could see the race co in the corner.
Yeah.
Such a cool car.
Such
Like,
a cool car.
yeah. Yep. If it was got like, sucks that it left our shop.
Yep.
But went to back to
Oh,
Wilson.
well,
no,
I was
who
going to say,
yeah,
if it had to
was-
go anywhere.
Yeah, that was the only place it was going.
So you guys know a lot more about the history than me, but it was the first ARM
Yep.
car in the world.
In the world.
It was originally a beam car.
Yes.
So old man Wilson
So a Beam
Bought it-
Race Co. So
bought
it
it as a beam race
brand
car.
new.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Mikey
Stapleton.
Stapleton saw it
Yes.
and thought he could make it better. So this brand new Pride and Joy race co that Wilson's had just bought, he
Took
chopped
to it with a grinder.
chopped the front end off it, and apparently would have been Norm Wilson, wouldn't it? Old man Wilson. Anyway, apparently he wasn't real happy with it, and but yep, Mikey built that that A-arm front end by hand, and
Over-engineered American piece of shit.
yeah,
Sorry, actually wasn't happy that he'd cut the front end off, or
Yeah.
once he'd put the ARM on it, wasn't happy
Oh,
with
no.
the car.
no, he wasn't happy that he cut the front end
Yes.
off it.
Well, it
but
had never been done before.
No.
Like it was
Yeah.
a first. So
Yep.
obviously he's just like, you just cut up my brand new car.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you guys know the history behind where Mikey got the idea for the ARM? It was
couldn't
just
tell you that.
yeah.
But that car, so in the States, it was a had a 1600cc Toyota motor in it, and it overhauled the Baja 500 or 1000. So anyway, so yeah, it was the
First
first.
car.
So yeah, beat all the Class 1 cars back in the day. So then Zach imported that car to Australia, less motor and gearbox. Brad Zacher had a Hornet that had a 930 turbo
Philip
box
Glover's
in it.
old Hornet.
Paul Glover.
Paul Glover.
Yep, and had a an RSR Porsche race motor in it.
3.3
So
litre.
took the motor and gearbox out of that car and then put it into the race go.
Mm.
And
Yeah, wow.
Yep.
So a little light car with
Well, it wasn't a little light car.
it was a
back
for
big
the
then.
day.
It was a
Yeah, it
big
was
car.
a big car. Back
Yeah,
in the
true.
day.
It was big.
True.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it had
Whereas
a lot. It had a lot of haters. That car.
It looked so tiny in the Wilson Motorsport shop, but like,
Yeah.
is
Oh,
that,
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
that's crazy. The progression. Yep.
And then it came out and just dominated Gunda Windy.
So
Oh,
sorry,
it-
I'll touch back. That was your statement before. Over-engineered American
American.
heavy piece of shit.
no, that-
American over-engineered American shitbox, I
Yep.
think
Yep.
was the words.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there was a certain faction of people that just
Couldn't
hated
get their head around it.
hated on that car,
Yes.
and it just went out and lay it down. And
Mm.
Brad steered that thing magnificently
And it won Gundy overall in 95
after a roll too.
after a
Yeah.
rollover.
Yep.
Yeah, wow.
Yep.
Yep.
And then from Zacher ended up in your hands.
Yep.
Yep.
And Big Rev Nev raced it for a while.
Mm.
Yep. So previous to winning the championship this year, the closest we ever got to an Australian championship would have been 98. So
Yes.
And you were navigating for Dad.
I was navigating for Dad. Last round of the championship was Mount Gambier.
Yes.
And I think we just had to finish. We're on the last lap. So we just had to finish where we were and we'd won the Australian championship.
Yep.
And so it was running Custer shocks. So it was the first car to ever run bypass shocks. So that bypass shocks on the rear, and wasn't bypass on the front, was it? It was
No,
they were just
no, it
custers.
was
and they
just a single.
had
Just a
remote
single
canister.
with a
Wait, did you
coil
just
on
say custers on it?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, the Custer
Yeah.
race car.
Yep.
That's-
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what the car was called.
Yep. There you go.
So yeah, last lap we had 10 Ks to go, and there was a straight, and halfway down this straight there was like 3 whoops, pretty high, and we just hit them flat out all day. And last lap we got to them, and the front lefts just dive straight into the whoops. So
Yep.
we had pine forest on the left, open paddock on the right.
Yep.
And at about 220 Ks an hour, we've gone into this pine forest.
Oh, that was in the race car.
That was in the race car.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So what had happened is the braided line that ran from the shock to the canister just rubbed through on the bar work, dumped all the gas and oil out of the shock, and
Yep.
in we went.
Essentially just had a big
So-
sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe.
Yeah. Yep.
So it, yeah, that shook us up pretty bad. And
Yep.
But that was bigger than what you're putting out there. Like
It was huge.
It was a big crash.
Yep.
It
Well,
was
the
into a tree and
Bottom
and
rail of the car hit the tree at about 8 foot.
Yeah. Yeah. Copy. So
But,
you didn't just like wobble off and go into the trees. You rolled and
No.
gained some height.
So we've gone in, we've done a full 360 in midair.
Yes.
We've hit the bottom rail of the car, as Ryan said, has hit the tree about 8 feet off the ground
Yep.
So where the rear shock absorber is, so behind the was it the driver's
behind the driver's head.
behind Dad's head on the
Yeah.
on
Oh,
where the
wow. Yes.
top shocky mounts are. It's hit
Yep.
there.
Then the car
Yeah.
bananaed around the
So-
tree.
Yep.
Carbonated around the tree, pulled the accelerator full throttle. The thing's just sitting there banging off the rev limiter when
Yep.
we hit the ground.
Yep.
Top half of the tree's falling off onto the roof. So that car, you get in and out through the roof.
Yes.
So we couldn't get out of the car.
Yep.
And yeah, that was
So essentially, you guys hit a tree so hard that like the tree shook and the top of it fell off.
Yep.
Oof.
Yep.
What an impact! And so then you and Nev obviously survived.
both
it.
walked out,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, crazy.
yeah. it
And that was what do you say? 98.
98. I'm going to say
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, 97, 98.
I think
Yeah.
it was 97
Mid,
because
mid,
I
mid to early,
it
mid
was
to late
my
90s.
I was in grade 12 in 97.
Yep.
Show me age.
Mm.
But yeah, I remember not going to that event and getting the phone call of
Yeah.
what had happened. So I think 97, but maybe 98. But
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it was yeah, I was home and I got the call, and that was probably our first that I remember
Big one.
big one where it was kind of like, fuck, what are we?
Yeah,
what are we
this sport
doing?
has
Like,
consequences.
what
Mm.
this
Yep.
is a big thing, and it's life. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it's not something that you half ass.
No.
You whole ass it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
We've been lucky over the years though, like for the amount of racing that we've done.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we had a pretty big event in
16.
2016 down at Mildura where we lost. You know, the culmination of, you know, all of our racing was that get. It was the best car that, you know, we could build
Yep.
at the time, and you know, to lose it maybe what 18 months after, or maybe a little bit, maybe a couple of years after
it was early.
Yep.
yeah, look,
Yep.
and we were, you know, we were still developing the car. It was getting
Mm.
better and better. We just put the Eco Tech motor in it, and yeah, so that's, you know, that's the biggest loss that we've had, and that
Mm.
that could have been worse as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we were lucky that Ryan was in a good enough state that he could get Dad out of that car.
Yep.
And obviously the one that
Because
Clayton
sorry,
Ryan
just
had.
just to touch on that one, if you don't mind, like you can say no again, but you actually pulled your dad out. Hey, like as in he was
Yep.
struggling to get out of the car, and you
At the time, I didn't know. It was
Yep.
it was all happening pretty quick.
Yep.
Like, so I remember the car coming around. So left hand corner, and the car sort of just stopped, just died.
Yep.
And then, you know, Dad's like, turn it off, restart it, you know, get it going again, reset the computer.
so at
'Cause
the
it was
time you guys pulled up, you didn't know you were on fire.
so we were just rolling
Yes.
under no power.
Yep.
And we
Ry-
just,
Ryan driving, Dad navigating.
Yes.
yeah, just rolling around the corner. Dad's saying, do this, do that, and I'm doing it, and I'm like, it's not starting. So by the time we'd sort of come to a stop off the track, the flames just caught up to us.
Yes.
So next minute, second,
Yep.
the cab was full of flames.
Yeah.
Dad just yelled, fire.
Yep.
Get out.
Yep.
The
So-
pumpers pumping smoke into your helmets.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Yeah, because the pumper's right down between the
Yep.
seats.
Yep.
Smoke's down there, and
Yep.
it's just filling the helmets.
Yep.
I just, as soon as I heard fire, I'm like, fuck, just
Yep.
belts, net, jumped out, didn't disconnect my helmet. I've jumped out of the car, my head's pulled 90
Yep.
degrees as it's gone click,
Yep.
click, and
Yep.
and I've come out. just automatically come around the back of the car. Fuck it, on fire. Came around there, and I just saw Dad. I'm like, what are you doing, mate? Get out.
Yes.
So just hands on shoulders. Helped him out. I was
Yep.
just like, yep, okay, cool. And that was the end. Like we tried to obviously, can we put it out?
Yep.
Throw some dirt on it, fire extinguisher, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was
Other
too
competitors
late.
pulled up.
Some did.
Yep.
Like the ones that first couple, we just waved the rest on.
Yeah.
So
What's the point?
Yeah. So there's no help there. So I was kind of like, no, you guys go. There's nothing you can do.
Yep.
So yeah, we just literally sat there and just had to watch it burn.
Yes.
Something that I'll always obviously remember, sort of etched in the brain. And Dad, and again, as Mick said, that was 40 years of racing.
Yeah.
That we've gone up to that pinnacle level and just gone. This is
that was our shot.
Yeah.
This is our house burning down.
Yeah,
This is like literally like watching your
all
the
your photo
years,
everything.
everything.
Everything
just
burned
go
to the ground.
and Dad, obviously, he expressed that, and I'll never forget. What he was sort of going through there, but we just there's nothing we could do.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we got out, and obviously that was the main thing. And we these guys came and picked us up trackside, and got back, and it was just a shit time. But but again, the beauty is that everyone got out and we could always replace it. The gets
that's what I was about to say. Is that the frame there?
The frames are sitting there. So when we just a roller.
Yep.
Got to throw some parts out, and she's good to go.
Yeah.
So, just a couple.
Just
couple
a couple
of parts.
Yeah.
But no, that was again another turning point. And you just go, well, what do we do? Obviously we're family. We've got family. We have kids, but it's what we do.
Yeah.
We race and
some
we love it.
Some families play football. Some families play soccer.
So the conversation was had. What do we do? Do we give up? Do we sit out for 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it's going to take to rebuild that car? Or, do we look to get something else and get us back into the game a bit quicker? And luckily we've got a great relationship with Harley and his grandpa, his late grandpa Danny Letner, and we'd already had that relationship where we'd bought Tatum 1 off them.
Yes.
And they did us a really good deal on Tatum 2, and we knew the car. It was we knew it was a really good car. Obviously, to be competitive over here, we needed to repower it and put a gearbox in it, and that was we ran the Tatum with the 4-speed H pattern Fortin in it with the motor out of the Razorback.
Yeah,
because we had to pull the stroker motor out that it came from the States with.
Yeah, sure you did. No.
Yeah. And then so we ran that at Fink the first year.
Yep.
Just to get back in the game.
Yep.
We knew we weren't going to be super competitive, but like the car held its own. Ryan held his own in that car, which massively underpowered and just a 4-speed gearbox. And then they gave us the confidence to, all right, well, we're not in for a new car for $300,000 to rebuild the Get. But let's invest in a gearbox.
Yep.
We salvaged some of the engine out of the Get. Gave that a rebuild.
Some parts were salvageable.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. I did not know that.
Engine probably
pretty much just the block.
Yep.
The gearbox looked perfect in the Get.
We thought would,
but it burnt from inside out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. So yeah, we
good boat anchor.
We were hoping that the gearbox was salvageable, but unfortunately that was gone.
It played the Uno reverse on you.
Yeah. So bought the Albans, put that in, put the Ecotech in, and last few years have just been fine tuning it and getting it better and better to what the car is now.
The Oz one,
Oswan,
baby. So the race co, going back to it, was that the final race for it at Mount Gambier, or did you guys get it back and going after that?
Yeah, we got it back and going.
Yeah,
Barry Johnson.
I think Barry Johnson. Yeah, Barry and
Barry who?
Barry and Daryl. Was it Daryl?
Yep.
Daryl.
Johnson,
DJ.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got it fixed up.
Yeah, they're loose cannons. Those guys.
They're great guys.
They were fun to be around. Tell you what, racing
on a scale of loose to Tom Swindlehurst, where were they at?
Tom's got nothing on him.
Challenge.
Tom's a rookie. Tom's a rookie.
Yeah, Tom's got some work to do. Racing through the 90s in off-road racing. God, it was fun.
Yep. Did you say racing through the night?
90s.
Oh, 90s.
Yeah. That'd have to be the heyday of off-road racing, I reckon.
Yeah, just for the numbers and it was
There was no rules.
It was a lot more affordable back then. So you know
Yeah.
you had a lot more characters in the sport. Everybody's and rightly so. It's a serious thing, and everyone's taking it quite very seriously.
Yep.
But yeah, back in those days, mate, there was
It was just no drinking on race day. Was
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
11:59. Okay, last drinks.
Race hours.
There's no drinking on race day, but we're not going to breatho you either.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it probably didn't have breathalyzers back then.
No.
Yeah. So Raceco back up and running. How long did you guys campaign that for after?
Well, it was running up until we bought the Jimco.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It went from so we blew the Porsche motor up, and then,
Couldn't afford to rebuild that.
Yeah, but Ryan could.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he put that in his Porsche. His
It was
road
easy.
Porsche.
Easy when you gifted a motor. It was kind of like just got to rebuild it. Thanks, Bob Strawbridge, who we touched on earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, and then it went to a rotary.
Mm.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Came out of
Yeah,
Dave
yeah.
Mendham's Rivmaster.
What was the
Just
idea?
wasn't the same
What was the idea
without the
behind
Porsche.
that?
It was cheap.
Yeah. Copy. Copy?
It was
Yep.
cheap.
Dad did love his rotaries though.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, one of his first cars was an R100.
Yes. Nev, the
Yep.
rotary man.
Yep.
The things you learn, hey.
Mm. So, but,
So then-
needless to say, we didn't finish too many races
With a
through that-
rotary?
through that era.
Yeah.
But we had a crack.
That's it. We were still out there. That was the main thing.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of money trying to make it work.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Natural aspirator or turbo
turbo.
rotary?
Turbo 13B Bridgeport.
The thing went pretty well.
Yep. When it ran.
Yeah. Should just put in a drag car and leave it at that, I think.
Yeah, they're good for
Boat
short.
anchors.
Yeah. Not even that because they're not that heavy.
Oh, they're heavy.
They're
Yeah.
heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I just try and, I don't know, I never want to touch one in my lifetime. So
You're not missing
I'm
much.
happy to keep it at that. So then campaign that until brought
So we bought Madonna.
Madonna in, brought the Jimco in
Second Wilson.
No,
car.
we didn't bring it in.
until you purchased it.
Yep.
So, but I believe the story is essentially,
Oh, sorry. We did bring
We
that
did
one
bring
in.
that
Yeah,
one
yeah,
in.
sorry.
essentially it
Yeah,
came off the boat to you guys, didn't it? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zaka bought it and
No,
then
No, we bought it.
No, we
There you
bought
go,
that
bought
one.
it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
bought that
yeah.
one?
I was
There you
getting
go.
mixed up. Yeah.
that's okay.
That
So-
was the name.
Yeah. Big brothers, hey.
Confused.
Big boss, isn't it? Big boss.
Yeah, big boss.
Big dog.
So yeah, what year did you guys bring the Jimco in?
I'm going to say 2000.
I reckon it was after that.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no,
s-
you would have been. Yeah. Would have been 07, 08.
Yeah, well, it was a Jimco 2000.
Yeah, it wasn't you
Yeah,
when we got it.
Yeah,
But
So was it around? So I had the Razorback.
Yeah.
And I first raced that in what 07 or 08.
well, 08, we raced Australian Championship.
Yeah.
In that car.
Yeah, I'm
So-
saying
Would
Well,
have been
what-
07.
well, this
Those-
might help run
yeah.
it down. Then, what year did you guys produce Dusted?
08.
So, and I think you guys had only just got the car when
Yep.
you. Yep. So that might help. So it must be in 07 or 08.
yeah, I reckon 07.
07. Yeah.
Because for those, like, this is a bit of a tangent, but for those that don't know, like, a lot of the TV or off-road racing, you guys haven't done it for a while now, but back in the day, you guys used to produce the TV series for off-road racing as well. Like when it was on, was it
Oh,
One
it was
HD?
on- yeah, we
One
had it on
HD, that-
Foxtel, One
Foxtel,
HD
One
when it first
HD.
came out.
You guys there's actually a DVD out called Dusted. That
Yep.
was one of the first Australian off-road racing DVDs we'd ever seen and produced. So
T-Butts was waving his magic.
Butts. Hey, what a mad dog that man! Oh, and he is still doing his magic. Hey, have you got
Yeah.
like seen his YouTube stuff for Don River?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man cracks.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a genius.
oh yeah. I mean, he's a little bit of a tweaker. Like when he's looking at you with the eyes all the time, like, it kind of freaks me out.
We love you, Tony.
Yeah, we do. We love you too much. But yeah, you're a bit of a tweaker, bro. Like it's so funny. Like he come up to us at Don because we're up there doing commentary, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know, man. I think I'm done hanging out of helicopters. Like I don't." And like because obviously it was not obviously but it was one of how have I gone so blank here? It was one of Talbot Cox's helicopters and one of his pilots. So you farmers flying helicopters, you can imagine it's pretty loose.
Yeah.
So in a good way, Aerosport legal people that are listening, but
hanging pretty low.
Yeah, it was pretty low. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, man. I think I'm done. I can't see the value in hanging out of choppers." And he rocked up the next morning. He's like, "Boys, check out the footage I got yesterday." And he's like, showed it to us. And I'm like, "So you're done with choppers?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know, man. You know, like, so it's
Turns out you can get some pretty good stuff
you
out
get
of
some
it.
sick footage. But I mean, the man is a genius. Like,
Yeah.
particularly in off-road racing, like you get essentially one shot, like one chance to get a good shot, and
Yeah.
he always seems to
nails
do
it.
it. Yeah,
Well, he hadn't done anything with off road until you guys. had
Yeah.
he?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like how I met him. So we were at a wedding, and a mate of mine, Mick Oxley, who navigated for us all, I would say.
I think I rolled over with Mick plenty of times.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In the car.
yeah. And then we got to the racetrack.
And Mick's dad, Bob, was Dad's
Dad's
navigator
navigator.
for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
So I was actually at Mick's wedding, and I got talking to Tony, and I said, "Oh yeah, what do you do?" Blah blah blah, and he goes, "Oh yeah,
Hang out of choppers.
Yeah,
I filmed the World Mountain Bike Tour for Red Bull.
Yep.
I'm in Europe for half the year, I'm in Australia for half the year.
Yep.
Okay, what do you want to do for the half the year you're in Australia?"
Yeah, coffee.
And then that's just where it started.
Yeah,
And so I mean, he obviously had an eye for detail and
Yep.
was good at what he does. If
Yeah.
you're good enough for Red Bull, you're good enough for anything.
yeah.
But
And I guess mountain biking is probably the same. As
Very
in,
similar.
You've got
Yeah.
one
Yeah, one go at
chance.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to go and suss. You can't just suck it and see. You got to go and suss your spot out and work out where it is. Yeah,
yeah. So I guess the entrepreneurial side of me just started ticking, and I'm like, right, how do we make this work?
How many
Yeah.
beers deep were you at
Yeah.
that point?
Yeah.
I haven't stopped since.
Did you take your shirt off on the dance floor?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I even learned how to do the worm.
The dance move? No.
Yeah. But so we sort of put our heads together and thought, right, well, how are we going to make this work? And we ended up. He came up to Fraser Island with us
Yes.
one year. It must have been 2007. And we're just sitting there having a few beers around the campfire and talking crap. And next thing you know, we got a spot on 1HD.
Yep.
For half-hour slot.
Yep.
For however many shows we can put in there.
Yep.
And we're like, oh, okay. Well, it's starting to get real.
Yeah.
And so we went from 1HD and then to Foxtel and
Yep.
And then we ended up.
So is this when the idea was born to do the Dusted DVD as well?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was 2008. We did the Dusted DVD.
Yes.
And if
Man,
a lot of the race teams, they were so supportive.
Yep.
They wanted to see this happen.
Yeah. Yep.
It wasn't a cheap thing to do. It wasn't no
Yep.
one made any money out of it.
Yep.
But hey,
it's
just put a feather in your cap and
Yeah. Yeah. And I
move
think,
on.
well, I think
we wouldn't be talking now if it didn't happen. So
I think from those TV shows you saw definitely, or even Dusted DVD, like you saw an increase of, like more mainstream sponsorship into the sport for a while. Because I guess if you're not on commercial TV, like it's pretty hard to, justify, like people don't know. I guess it's probably getting different in this day and age of YouTube and everything like that.
Like social media was nothing back then.
Yeah, that's
that's
right. 2008,
Like
like
for a long time, it was the best kept secret.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Off-road racing was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And the only way you could explain it was like, just like a like a
let,
RC car.
let me show you this. Yeah,
And then these guys put it onto mainstream TV and
Yes.
whatnot. Like,
Yep.
and that exposure brings sponsorship
Yep.
and all that sort of stuff.
well,
So
one HD was or one whatever. Yeah, whatever that
Channel 10.
channel 50 was channel 10. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and it was like
You're talking like a true Central Queenslandian there.
yeah, mate. That's
Channel 50.
What's that mean, mate?
Is that in Paja?
Yeah. Come on, mate. We get all the good stuff up there. We get mud racing. We get bull wrestling, and
Russell Coit. You got Russell Coit.
Funny story. Do you know he actually come and filmed in Central Queensland? Russell Coit was filmed up near a place in Yeppoon.
was he on your potty?
No, he was not. But it was filmed up in the Cap Coast, mate.
There you go.
So,
Hey,
yep. The
Claim
second
to fame.
the second season was filmed up in the Cap Coast.
Alright.
Yep. Or as I like to call it, the best coast.
It's the same coast, mate.
It's all at the East Coast. Yeah. So but that's right. It ended up in commercial. Gee, that was a bit of a tangent that we took there, though. But I guess that was me just trying to work out, because I knew when that was released, like you guys had only just sort of brought the Jimco in and had made that step up. Yep. So the Jimco kept it for a while, and then that's when Team Taylor graduated to 2 pro buggies because you were talking about your Razorback as well. Like got that built.
Yep.
So, and then
Razorback was a good car.
good car,
Yep.
Mm.
Very
Bit of an
good car.
underdog.
bit of an underdog.
Underdog, yeah.
Yep.
Under horsepower,
Yep.
under, just punched above its weight, I reckon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they went and put the motor in the back.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
As in,
Yeah, so it was a
Mid-mount.
not a, it was a mid mount, yeah, so not a conventional sort of orientation in the car, but yeah, no, I think we decided to do that just based on geometry and weight transfer and whatnot. And
Yep.
I know the Zach has had their 150 Jimco was a mid mount engine, and I think in the US they were going that way for a period of time.
Yep.
Yeah, so we just thought, we'll give it a crack, and we
and they have actually gone back that way. Like
Yeah, with the hammerheads.
The hammerheads are
Yep.
mid-mounted.
And
Yep.
it wasn't just a a decision made easily.
Yep.
There was some of the best old school minds in off-road racing,
Yep.
helped make that decision.
Yeah.
Like there was George Croucher, there was Foz, there was
Ed Van
Ed
Ussel.
Van Amstel, there was Donny.
Yep.
There was the old boy.
Yep.
And
a lot of experience.
oh, man.
Yep.
And you get all those guys in a room.
Yeah.
And you just shut up.
Yep.
And do you know why they ended up coming up with the mid-mount scenario?
Because it was easy to get the gearbox out.
Because they figured we pull the gearbox out more than we pull the motor out.
And what do we do?
And ironically, the motor came out of that car more than the gearbox because it was a pain in the ass to get out.
Oh, the gearbox was not the problem. Just the motor. It was like, holy crap, we just
Yeah, it was
balls
like,
this up.
oh shit! When that thing flicks a serpentine belt, it's a drama.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
It seats out.
Yeah.
It's fuel tank out.
Yeah, we couldn't change an alternator.
Had to pull
The bolt,
tank
the
out.
bolt
The
hit
fuel
the
tank.
fucking fuel tank. So it was like, shit.
We had
The
to do
way
that
he
at-
just said that.
We had to
it
do
was-
that at Hayden, didn't we? Was
Yeah.
it Hayden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the
Yeah.
car park of the motel.
Yeah. So it was seats out, fuel
Fuel
tank
out.
out, so we get to the alternator.
The way
Because
he just said
that thing threw a lot of
What did I say? I
alternators as
can't remember
well.
what did I say?
The way you're just like, couldn't even change an alternator in that thing. It was like you're having serious PTSD
Oh, yeah.
for a second there. Eh? Like,
Still haunts me.
Maybe the guys put the motors in the backs of Genius.
yeah. And particularly being facing the wrong way as well.
I think we had the serpentine belt, like the diagram drawn on the back of the fuel tank.
Yes.
So we could sort of look at that and then try to do it by feel. It was fact.
So never another mid-mount car.
Never say
No,
never.
never say
never.
never, but
Yeah.
not right now.
Yeah.
It'd be designed a little differently.
I think Foz would quit if we told him to turn that thing around.
Yeah. Coffee. I don't blame him. So
Fine,
then,
we're good to work for.
yeah, no, yeah,
Matt.
but after your reaction about having a mid-mount car, and then you're going to make
and
Foz do it
ironically, we're doing gearbox servicing in this thing
more regularly
which
than the motor.
means motor
Yep.
gearbox out.
But I will like, they come out pretty easy. Or no, don't.
Nah.
Just
No,
come for a week and have a look.
Doesn't
You'll
come out of the
you'll
ta-
need the week. Come for a day, stay for a week.
Yeah. And we still won't have the gearbox out. I will only lead you astray.
Hey, hang
We
on.
know.
I remember after one
Here
of
we go.
the
Yeah.
Remember how we
here
had
we
to
go.
bring the Tatum 1 back here for a gearbox
Yeah.
rebuild
Yep.
with Foz?
Yeah.
I think you were passed out on a couch.
was
just
not
over
me.
here.
That was me.
Was it you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I was wide awake
Ah,
because
gotcha.
we were pretty good because DC and I had just rebuilt the Fortin in the Jimco with Dad.
Yeah.
So we were pretty onto what we needed to get at and what we needed to do. Yeah, because it had done essentially the same thing. Like it had rounded off the dog gears
Yep.
in third, not
Yep.
second.
Yep.
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 So, and actually, I also had an old. This is also like leading into like must have been an omen in the same sort of couple of months. I had a YZ 400 that had done the same thing in second as well. So we'd had that gearbox apart, and they were the motorbike gearbox was.
Jeez, you're hard on gear, man.
Yeah, tell my dad about it.
I don't think I need to.
So we it was Mick. Well, Mick made the call too because he went, "You boys are all over this." I think
I gotta drive your
he-
asses back to
he-
the racetrack. I'm
so-
having a nap.
So we said we'll stay awake. we'll put it all back together. And then when we were driving back to the racetrack, poor old Mick was awake while you, me, and DC all slept. And Foz, I think it was 5 up. We all slept while he had to drive us back.
Yeah, I think Mick might have gone to sleep because we needed a clear head to put that exhaust back together. That
yeah,
8-1 thing was just like, I am done with this.
I
thing.
think that was the most frustrating thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
So for a bit of perspective, the exhaust that was on Tatum 1 was 8-1, but it wasn't a block of
collected
headers
behind the motor. Or in
So
front.
it went forward towards the front of the car, and then around, and then towards the back.
Up and over.
But
Down the side.
Down the side on the right side, which was the passenger side. But they weren't like, wasn't like the Jimco where you bolted like a header on that had all 4 of them. It was individual headers, and there was like 3 or 4 different ways you could get it together. And
no, there's only one way you can get it together. But it looked like it could go together.
It looked like it could go a couple of ways, and it was only until you got like to the 5th or 6th one that it just stopped working. Had to pull it all apart. Oh man,
but geez, it sounded good.
It did sound good. But man, that was
We've still got that exhaust.
Yeah, and actually, I noticed
Yeah,
I seen the 8-1 off the Jimco as well as up there.
Yep.
Yeah. Old mate that brought the motor and gearbox didn't want to run the 8-1, so it's a little bit of history there. But yeah, that was a fun night. So yeah, I wasn't asleep on that one. I was awake, but
You
was
saved
asleep on
that
the
for lap
couch.
3.
Yeah.
And
Or
back
maybe
on-
if you
back on
drove
the
a bit
podium
faster.
again.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Yep, that was a full rebuild. We did was it the first lap with only second to third?
Yep.
And I'm not sure what was longer, the rebuild that night or someone's podium speech.
Yeah. Definitely the podium speech.
Definitely the podium
Was it
speech.
40?
Oh, who knows?
42-minute lap time, 45-minute speech.
And all I heard was, 257 at the wheels. We heard that a few
Don't
times.
say that.
A lot, mate. But
I'm
anyway.
glad there was
Just in
no.
case you didn't know.
Yeah. In case you didn't know, we only had 257 at the wheels.
We beat your asses with 257 horsepower. And 3 gears.
Yeah, and 3
And that was in second gear.
Yeah,
And a torque converter.
but yeah, so good times. But no, I am proud to say that I was awake for that. Gee, I got lost on the sidetrack there. Where were we? We were talking about. What were we talking about?
Razorback.
Razorback. That's right. Yeah. And the servicing and everything like that. Yeah, and I actually, that's right. I made the statement and said, they rear motored cars come out pretty easily, but that must all depend. No, too many wires.
Oh, yeah.
Too many hoses, too many
There's
tools,
a lot of
too
pieces
many
to that
pipes,
puzzle.
too
Yeah,
many wires.
There's a lot
Yeah.
going on.
I guess I am talking about a dirty old.
If
Nash
you've ever
castrated.
tried to unscramble an egg, that's probably pretty close to it.
Yeah, copy. But a good girl.
And everything does a job.
Yeah, copy.
We actually made the call like the last couple of races was because we were servicing the gearbox that much, and then it takes up so much time. Just the last couple of races we said we'll just leave it in, and then Foz obviously then had time to go over the car,
Yes.
which was probably more important at that point, just to make sure that after Love Day with that broken wire,
Yes.
where it's like, well, what do we do? Do we pull the gearbox out again to get that serviced as preventative stuff, or do we just look at the rest of the car? So yeah, we just sort of thought, well, that his time's better spent just going over the car.
Yep.
There was a couple of short turnarounds this year.
Yeah.
And there's not even a
Right.
guarantee that we can get the gearbox down
Oh.
to get it serviced and then back again. And every time it leaves here, it goes on freight. You're in the lap of the gods of the freight company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you lose a gearbox they can't lose it for a week. You're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't have a spare gearbox.
Oh, we do now.
Yeah. Whose is that?
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kai.
yeah,
Kai.
Suck it, Kai.
Where's your car, mate? It's not here.
Well, it's still a Tatum, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Do I need to bleep that out? Like, no, that's allowed.
What out?
Tatum.
Tatum.
No, we're good.
We're good.
No.
Happy days. Yeah. Well, you do have a spare gearbox.
Yeah.
Just put that in the invoice for making him an Australian champion as well.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. You're
Doesn't
welcome.
doesn't come for free, mate. Doesn't
Yeah,
come
yeah.
for free. So here we go. We'll move on a little bit. Future for Team Taylor. Where do we see Team Taylor in 5 years?
Oh.
Consecutive champions for 6 years in a row? No.
6?
Well, 5.
You're saying 6?
I said 5 years, 6 years. This plus 5. That makes 6 in a row. Achievable, isn't it?
We're not ones to get ahead of ourselves.
Yes.
So 1 year at a time. But
Get? Are we going to see the get back, or that's
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yep. that is part of the plan. Because I mean, I would love to see the
It's
get
been
back.
part of the plan since 2016.
Yeah. Because I mean, it is a beautifully turned out car.
if we didn't do the championship this year, we could have put the get back together. So
It's true.
6 rounds, you idiot.
God damn
6
it.
rounds.
Come back to me, right?
yeah. Wait, big brother's always blaming the little brother,
Yeah,
mate.
it's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
And I've got 2 of them.
oh no,
Yeah,
like
you
I was
poor bastard.
I was just putting into perspective.
Yeah,
that, you
yeah,
know, like,
yeah. That is
you-
the true cost
there's-
behind.
you got to make a sacrifice and decide what you want to do, and
Yep.
that's was more fun to do that.
Yep.
than-
Yeah, look,
Absolutely.
if money was no object, which obviously it is in
Yeah.
everyone's shed, right?
Yeah.
So if we could do it, we would have done it.
Yep.
You know, but it's like,
Yep.
well, like Mick said earlier, is how do we get back on the track?
Yep.
And how do we do it quickly?
Yep. And
And
Tatum
Tatum
too.
too was that
Yep.
vehicle
Yep.
for us. So
Yep.
you know, and the goal was always like Dad said that was the Phoenix. It'll
Yeah,
you know,
it'll rise again.
rise again.
Yep.
And it will.
I mean, looking at the frame, it looks in good nick.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
everything's there. Like all the arms, the uprights,
Yep.
the you know the chassis good.
If you
So-
if you wanted a roller in your shed, we got one.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
literally a roller.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Whether we'd sell it or not.
Oh no,
Yeah.
we
No.
don't-
That's,
not-
yeah, we're not selling.
Yeah. Take the hint. Yeah. So, obviously, you guys still keep in contact a little bit with Gene. See, he's back building race cars again
Yeah.
and stuff like that, which is pretty flipping awesome.
Yeah,
'cause
he's
that man makes
Building a couple of
the coolest.
Class
You mean
one
Gene
cars.
Taylor?
yeah.
We nicknamed him that for a while.
Yeah, coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, no, talk to Gene from time to time,
Yep.
and definitely keep an eye on what he's doing. And those 2 Class 1 cars for the Grabowski brothers, very nice.
Yeah, yeah.
cars.
Yeah,
Take this call.
yeah, copy. That's code. Just watch out for the wires. Watch out for the wires.
Oh, right. You forgot your phone.
While you're up. Yeah. So, where was I going? Obviously, keep in contact with him a bit about getting the get back up
Yeah.
and getting the get.
Yep.
But yeah, getting the get back up and running. And obviously, he'll be involved in that process as well. And
Yeah, and look, if the budget's there at some point in time, you know, I think an option I'd love nothing more is to send that back over to Gene.
Yep.
Build it, put it back together.
Yep.
And let's go do some races over in the States with that car.
Yep.
And then, you know, when we're done,
so, would
turn it around, bring
you?
it back.
I know this is all super hypothetical, but would you build it for Australian conditions, or as in, like, would you build it to Australian rules, or would you go like say a bigger naturally aspirated V8?
Oh,
or
I just put a cranky 7-litre in it,
Yep.
I reckon.
yeah, which is probably like you said, there's plenty of parts available for them and everything like that.
Yep.
It's a beautiful look. Oh, I
Yeah.
just that radius rolled roof bar
Oh,
gets
it's
me
beautiful.
every time.
Yeah,
Hey, like
it's a work of art.
yeah, even sitting here looking. Oh yeah, the work that man cranks out is
Just
absolutely
it's the
second
quality.
to none.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's like owning that Alpha car as well. Like
Yep.
it's one of
Yeah.
those cars that you'd never let go.
No.
Like I think that Alpha will be in the Martin family for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, there'll be third generations Martin driving that car at some
oh,
stage. I
for
reckon.
sure. If they ever
And
let
if it's
that
in the
go-
if it's in the genes like the current ones, mate.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah, Dale and Brent, what a pack of animals,
Dude,
man.
I know.
Like,
Monsters.
well, we're like, man, how did we forget that? Like this afternoon, we were talking about, like fast guys at Fink. The one we totally forgot about was like Dale Martin in that
Oh, man.
Pro Light,
Pro
like
Light.
3rd overall.
Yeah.
Yep.
What
I-
the
I-
heck, man?
I was at the Fink jump.
Brent. Sorry,
Brent,
my bad.
yeah,
My bad.
yeah.
My
Come on,
bad.
Josh. Get it
Sorry.
together, mate.
Oh, well, someone just put
Sorry,
Coronas
Brent.
down.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Brent.
Sorry, Brenty.
I was at the Fink jump this year, and he was the
They're not
he
twisties,
was
bros.
They're not. Who's got one? Oh, Mick.
he was the fastest car through that last section, through that technical section before the jump, over the jump.
Yep.
He was just up on the wheel driving that car, and he was dead set the fastest thing through that section.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. Sorry, I was a bit with Brent and Dale because Dale is making the step to Pro Buggy as well. He's got a twin turbo Jimco, and man, they gotta let Brent drive that Alpha again at some point in time, don't they? Like we got to start a campaign or a petition or something to get him in that Alpha because it's just another awesome family, another awesome car, and everything like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And actually, they're a family we'd love to get on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they built a bigger motor for that alpha for this year, was it?
Oh, going up to a 7-liter.
I believe so.
It
Yeah,
needs
cool.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a heavy car.
Yeah.
But a beautiful car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I dare say Craig will drive it for a season with the big motor.
Oh, you'd think so.
Damn it, Craig.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, he's still on it.
Oh, he is.
You know,
He
like-
is. Yep. But those boys, man, they are just and drivers.
Yeah.
Like you talk about those, like we were talking about before with GPS and stuff like that. Like I don't think like for them to be able to having those little pro light cars going as fast as they are under horsepower, like at tracks that are heavy, like heavy sand, like Fink and stuff like that. And they did do a rainbow for the ARB series as well. Like in that heavy sand to be as fast as they are, like they are
Just to
carrying
carry that road
carrying
speed
momentum
everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is super impressive.
That car had no business being that far up the field
At Fink,
with that field he was racing
Yeah.
against.
Did you see his little off? Well, call it off, I suppose.
Yeah.
The video he put up.
Yep.
Yeah, he was on it,
oh
Yeah.
and it was like he was on it that much. It was like, okay, yep, cool. We got off the track, but back on again. Like,
Yeah.
he had a moment, but I don't think it slowed him up any.
Probably
on the edge.
Probably turned out to be a better line.
On the
Yeah.
edge.
Just off the track.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nah, he's on the bopper. On
Yeah.
the bopper.
on the buffer.
Jeez.
Oh, geez, we got a drink.
Someone said.
R.I.P. Shout out to Danny Curran. No, he's not dead. I didn't.
Oh,
mean
whoa,
that.
whoa, whoa.
whoa. Shout
Where
out
is
to
Danny Carra?
He's got his kids for the weekend, so he is at home looking after that on dad duties. So
Apparently, when you look after your kids, it's not babysitting.
yeah, I didn't mean it like that, but he's been a responsible adult. So like, good on him. But so we were talking about those little pro light cars. Yeah, and it is awesome that and probably goes to show like the importance in off road racing of being on top of your suspension and everything like that, and then being in a good headspace as well. Because I think that's one thing you talk about is there's no such thing as a perfect lap in off-road racing. Like it's not like V8 supercars where you hit this mark, you hit that, like it all gets together. Like for them to be able to have that off at Fink and like essentially just knock it back a gear, clutch kick it and back onto the racetrack and then still keep that same pace.
Yeah,
like
it's like everyone's got that story, right? Like
Yeah.
you go, oh yeah, prologue, or I messed up this, I messed up that. Like, unless, like you said, you're having a perfect lap, like everyone has an off or something, that they're not
Yeah.
happy with. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, well, yeah, no shit, mate. Like, I had an off too. It's like,
yeah,
I would have won if it wasn't for this. But
Yep.
it's
It's whoever had
that's
the,
racing.
Yeah.
it's whoever had the best bad lap.
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's something like people go, yeah, like they go like, oh, like I had to,
I lost 2 seconds here.
yeah, or I had to back off it because, I was having this drama, or I was having that drama. Well,
Temperatures were getting up.
yeah. Well, that's
or I
fine,
was
mate.
a pussy.
Yeah. yeah, that's right. Or my gearbox was getting hot, or this was happening. Yeah, well, just so you know, like we drove and managed that. Like we weren't able to smack high boost and just crack it the whole way. We raced on a lower boost.
Everyone's got a story.
Everyone's
Yeah.
got a story. That's right.
Person who wins is the one that goes slowest,
The
fastest.
fastest finisher or fastest slowest. Oh, yeah, whatever. Don't say on the bopper. Oh, fuck. But yeah, I think off road is full of those stories of if it can be easy, or probably the more public people sometimes. I guess. Geez, where am I going with this? I know what I'm trying to say. It can be easy sometimes when you win. People think you don't have any dramas.
Yeah.
But essentially, the whole race is managing your dramas.
Yeah.
Like for you guys with the championship, like you managed your finish, and not that it's like not that Jake would say it in a million years, but like sometimes people say, oh, like you guys only won because of Jake not finishing at Kalgoorlie, but like he'd had his good race. You had your bad race at Fink earlier on in the year and stuff like that. So, and that's what I mean. It's about managing an off-road championship is like managing a whole off-road race as well. Like, yeah.
And it was also about the pressure that was put on between those two boys as well. You know,
Yeah.
like it was pretty obvious to us that those guys, Jake and his team, they'd turn the wick up at some point throughout that season.
Yep.
So that forced us to turn the wick up
Yep.
as well. So now it comes into engine wars.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Whose engine package can sustain that? And I can guarantee you, we were running past the boost that our engine builder really wanted us to run, and they were probably running past the boost that their engine builder really wanted them to run.
Yeah.
I was going around some of those races going, sorry, Stu.
Yeah.
So
I just got to do it.
Yeah.
So it quite possibly came right down to that, where Jake was then in a position that I got to screw this thing up.
Yep.
Because I you know what I mean. It's just that whole season was just that the pressure that was put on, and like, okay, well, we got to turn the wick up, and then geez, they've just turned the wick. You can tell when you're watching the car.
Yeah.
In qualifying, like, geez, those guys are wound that up. Do we need to wind it up? So
Yeah.
and that's what it effectively came down to.
Yeah, it's that constant juggle. And then I guess like every form of off-road racing, there's also, I mean, it's a massive race back home in the prep shed as well. Like who's doing their prep the best, who's looking at, like, who's, knows their car better about what they need to manage, what they need to look after. Like, man, even like you said, I didn't realize that Jake's car only carries a 33-inch spare, and he just happened to get a
35?
33.
only carries a 33-inch spare,
Right.
and
Back from the Shannon days.
the flat in that race happened to be on the rear, so they had to put the 33 on the front to then put the 35 on the back. Like, and it's that risk versus reward. Like, if they'd got a flat front, it would have been half the time to do the pit stop, and then, but it's less weight to carry. Like it's such a juggling act. Like,
everything's a compromise.
Yeah, suspension setups, everything.
Maybe we should have had agreement with them that we won't go over £18 if you don't.
So who monitors that?
Boost or tire pressure?
It's a gentleman's agreement.
Gentleman's agreement. But yeah, that's right. Like it was. I mean, hey, Shannon ran it like that and won many an Australian championship. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But then, like you said,
It's evolving.
In that critical moment, it was one of the things that led it. Because I was like, man, I thought watching that lap that because they were stopped for so long, I was like, oh, it's something more catastrophic than a puncher or something easy than that. But it turned out it was just a puncher, but they had to swap the front to the back and do all that. And that cost 40 minutes, I think they were pulled up for. So yeah, it's a pretty, but and other times throughout the year is that carrying that. I mean, it's only a small amount, but it all comes through. Yeah. Carrying that 20, 25 kilo less.
And also the position where that tire is.
I think it's the size that it won't fit. A bigger tire won't fit in the back.
Yeah, but like also the position of where that tire is, it goes down in over the gearbox. So that's in a really good center of gravity weight position. Balance the car. The car's probably happier there.
Yes.
Than if you were the only other way would be to mount the spare right back what we do.
Yep.
Might need a whole retune the suspension system on that car.
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
So something I just thought of. What do you reckon? So you mentioned Shannon in that car back in the day when he was winning all those championships.
Yep.
Do you think that car is running at a faster pace now than when Shannon was dominant in it?
Are you asking me or everyone? Everyone.
No, it was just.
I like it. I like it. We're even asking the people at home.
Like I personally think cars are going faster.
Yeah,
and that's nothing against Shannon and his dominance.
It's the evolution.
Things evolve.
Yeah,
and I guess that's why Shannon stepped out of that car, because he could see that righto.
Yep.
There's a better mousetrap out there.
Yep. I need to be faster.
Yep. So
and I think you were talking about before, like you need to be the slowest fast guy to finish, or the fastest slow guy, but whatever, you need to make sure that your car finishes, but you need to be right up there. And I think Shannon was exceptionally good at knowing exactly what that pace was.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he feels like, I mean, we're just talking for him here, but I wonder if he feels like that car was at its absolute limit of being able to push it as fast as he could successfully without becoming a DNF machine. And
I think Shannon was always good at, like, back when he had the Shenworth, winning in that, then into the Jimco and winning in that, and then obviously into the Hammerhead now. Like, he was always good at staying in front of the game.
Yep.
And I think we are going faster than what they were winning back then. And you think back the Shannon and
Dave
Fellows battles back then in those two cars. So
amazing.
So they were on top of the game back then, and they were going as fast as anyone. faster than anyone
Yeah.
at that point. So, but I think Mick's right. We are going faster now, which is natural progression.
Yep.
So
Well, look at the
we're
think
pushing
times.
everything a bit faster.
Oh, I do agree. I think that is probably one reason why I don't think he changed cars just for the hell of it. Like Shannon's
No.
too smart a competitor, and I mean all the dramas that they had getting on top of that car to make it the championship winning car that it is. I don't think they would just sell it for no reason and restart that process. And they have had to restart that process. Like they haven't had I don't think they'd call it a successful year in the
The
Hammerhead.
same
but
thing happened when they went to the
To the
Gymco.
Gymco.
That's right.
They basically they came out. They weren't happy with whatever it was
Yep.
with the car. They took the rest of the year off. They
Did they take 2 years off?
I think
Yeah.
I think it was only. I thought they came out at the beginning of the year. They took the rest of the year off. Then they came back and then just dominated.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. So I will say I am intrigued to see Shannon come back in the Hammerhead and see what happens there, because if they've been doing a lot of testing and getting their head around, I mean, that's a huge transition as well. Like you said, the Shenworth was Chenoweth, no Chenworth,
Chenoth,
whatever. It was rear engined. The Gymco rear engined.
four-cylinder.
Yep. Now he's made the transition to a mid-engine car and trailing arm, like a completely different like suspension style
Well,
setup.
it's a longer trailing arm, isn't it?
Yep.
Like the Shenworth was a short arm.
Yep.
Jimco a bit longer, but now he's gone longer again. you
Yeah.
know, so it's a whole different.
ball game.
Yeah.
Particularly, I think the big one, like you said, is the mid-mounted motor, like with that different center of gravity and
Well,
everything.
he always
like
runs a spare on the back, so always chasing traction as
Yes.
well.
Yep.
Know, so
Well, the Wilsons run 2 spares on the back of those things standing up.
Yep.
So I think they're
That's
trying
the
to
bigger
get,
Hammerhead though.
Yeah.
Bigger car.
So that is actually because we have the debate all the time. Is it just that it looks big because it's in Australia, or is it slightly smaller than what the Wilson Hammerhead
Yeah, it's smaller
is?
than the Wilson's car.
Yeah, yep. And the
It's a
Parkhouse
Stingray.
car. Yep. It's a Stingray. Steve Irwin. But
Too soon?
too soon? No, it can't be too soon. An Australian icon. Yeah, I think it'll be definitely very interesting to see Shannon wrap his head around that car and see what performance it can bring. Because, I mean, in theory, it should be hella good in the rough.
Yeah.
Hella good in the rough. But whether it's good in Australian conditions or not is the
They'll
whole-
make it work.
Yeah, they will.
My guess this year is it's not so much car issues. I think it's coming down to everyone
Engine.
just turning their engine packages up so much.
well, who's blown an engine? Like there's a lot of blown engines. Everyone's
It's just ice cream, mate.
Yeah, blown a seal.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Seals
have
or
them.
engines?
Engines.
Right.
Motors. Yep. Internal combustion motors.
Yep.
But yeah, there have been a lot of engine package dramas this year.
Yep.
But yeah, that's right. I think that's where the sport is at this point in time. Particularly Australian racing.
Maybe we need unlimited.
I don't have a dog in the
Did
fight.
I just start you there?
It'll shut a lot of people up.
It
Okay.
would. It would.
Yep.
Would cars go faster? I don't know. We were talking about this. I don't see a benefit against it, and I don't really see a benefit for it. Is my personal on it. I think it'd be cool, and I know it'd be cool to see some Americans here. That would be the one cool thing. But I also say I don't think Australia has big enough, open enough races yet to really attract. Like Fink has the name and that sort of and the heritage and that. But honestly, if there are any Americans listening, if I was coming over, I'd come over for Don River. I think like just 50-meter wide racetrack, up and down a river, no dust issues. You can start in last
We need
place.
to do Alice Springs to Adelaide.
Like get
That's
like
what
a
we need to do.
safari back or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, what about we're talking about like a race across the Simpson Desert or something like that as well, from like Birdsville to like Mount Dare.
Yeah.
500 and something.
Greta
kilometers.
Thunberg, you're listening to this?
Stuff her. Stuff her. We're going to burn that petroleum till the wheels fall off.
Dinosaur
And we're
juice.
going to install solar power to make it better.
Yeah, I like safari would be awesome. It'd be great to see like a long distance.
Well, there is a 900k race next year.
Yeah,
Get around that.
That's going to be good.
yeah. Well, we're going to be there doing the commentary. My only
for all 35 hours.
Yeah.
You got to Iron Man it?
No, I'm not going to have a navigator.
It's not Ivan the Iron Man
It's-
Stewart and his co-driver.
Oh, RIP. But the only drama I see with that 900k race, cool, very good idea. It's only an 80k lap, so I think it's like 10 laps or 11 laps of an 80k lap. So it might become very congested. A great idea in theory. Awesome. Like Griffith used to be a 700k race and a proper enduro, like all in one day.
Yeah.
Your pit stops, everything was classed as part of your time. Like, in theory, I reckon it's an awesome race, and I do say get behind it. The only drama that I see is that it is a loop race. If we could get like an 800 or 900,
But we,
where
like,
do you get
the
happy
property? The property they're running it on, we raced there a while back, and it just doesn't get dusty.
It doesn't.
No.
Awesome.
Yep.
Cool.
So you know, if that's the property that they're looking at running it on,
Yep.
yeah, it'll be good.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah, but like, you know, if the race is that long, that you could potentially use those dust issues as part of your strategy. that,
Yep.
you know, we're going to get out of here. We're going to pit. Hopefully, we're going to pop back into some clean air.
Yep.
Make up some time again because we know that guy. You know what I mean? It adds an extra element to it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be what it's going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like the point score system. It is what it is.
Well, and you're right. Everyone's racing in the same conditions.
Yep.
Are we that smart though to work it all out?
No.
What's it saying? You got to
yeah.
You can only
with the
Dick
you
you've
got. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, you were dropping F bombs before.
Yeah, he's worried about this.
Are you dropping me? Hitting the dump.
Oh shit! I thought we were going to get through without that.
No, go on, sir. No, but I do. Yeah. Well, that's awesome news about the fact that the course doesn't get dusty. I think that's great news.
Hey, don't take that for gospel.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
was there once and
Yeah.
it wasn't dusty.
Hang on, I listened to the podcast and Clayton said,
Yeah.
Let's just say that to get the numbers up.
No guarantees.
No guarantees. Well, the one we always push for, we maybe not anymore, but I reckon
The
that
24 hour.
Yeah, the Burdekin 24 hour, because it's an awesome racetrack as well. It definitely could have been a 24 hour or Don River 24. See now with 24 hours of racing, team up 2 cars.
Dude, there's no way off-roaders are going to do 24 hours in a row.
Okay, well,
Hang on, who was it that famously said that lucky off-roaders don't race
It was
airplanes?
Reggie
or-
Owen, wasn't
Reggie
it?
Owen. Yeah. Like we don't race airplanes because we'll be.
We'll be dead.
well, what about 12 hours then? Like, say, start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or midday and race to midnight.
How about we start with 6?
So, like 6
Hey,
p.m.
what about the old Kempsey days?
I just think
What
night
was
racing
Kempsey? Was Kempsey 900?
1,000
It was
Ks.
1,000
It was
Ks in one
1,000.
day.
Yeah.
Yep.
in
Yep.
one day.
Yeah.
So, what time did that start?
Early,
Yeah. What time did it finish?
late.
Started with the bagpipes and finished with the.
Is that-
Probably 3 wheels.
yeah. So that's official timing.
yeah.
But night racing, I reckon it's something that needs to make a bit of a comeback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Something a bit different. Yep.
Yeah, we used to do night racing and you'd go faster in the night lap than you would the day lap.
Yeah.
Well, you turbo boys would love it too. Bit of cool, crisp
air.
air.
Oh, the V8 boys would find a way to bloody win.
Oh.
We need to put a heater on their car.
It's unfair. We need bigger than 7 litres. We still can't keep up. Andy Brown.
yeah. I mean that footage is incredible. Like,
That's not. Hang on. That's not even 6 litres.
it's not. But the caption makes it for me. Yeah, father beats son mercilessly and shows no apologies. Yeah, they are a great off-road racing family as well. Like the Browns, they just obviously were over in
Just finished Baja in
Yeah.
in a Raptor Ranger.
Raptor Ranger.
On methods.
On
On
methods?
methods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ashley, there you go. We haven't even touched on this, boys. Congratulations on now. You guys are a sponsor of the show, so thank you very much. But massive congratulations on the transfer from Race Wheels Australia to Method Race Wheels Australia. That is huge, like phenomenally huge. That essentially a small little company in Brisbane has grown into something where the parent company of Method Race Wheels has officially allowed you guys to use their name. And I believe the only other distributor. You guys are the
Only one.
only distributor in the world that are allowed to actually use the Method race wheels. TM, congratulations. That's huge, massive. Well done to you boys.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's been a lot of sleepless nights, I guess. You know, it's
It's been a journey.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost like having a baby
Oh man, I got more sleep with kids, that's for sure.
because you couldn't farm this one off to Tabby.
Can't just get my boob out and quieten it down. It's
Might have lost a few customers that way, but no. It would be wrong of us not. I know we had Mick on earlier in the year, and we talked a bit about the rise of Method or the rise of Race Wheels Australia, but now it's, I guess, Method Race Wheels Australia. So yeah, that's huge. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, obviously, something you guys have been wanting or working on for a while.
Oh, look, we always wanted, to be seen as Method race wheels here in Australia. And we've just had that great relationship with Method race wheels in the US for 10 years now.
Yep.
And we've just been loyal to them. They've been equally as loyal back to us. And we didn't even have a
Sorry about that.
whoa. Are we finishing up? We're wrapping this up.
No, we're not. We're not even close.
for a long time now, we never even had a contract or anything with them. It was a gentleman's agreement between us and them, and they told us, that they would back us, and we told them that we'd be, loyal and only, offer their product into the country.
Yep.
And it's just grown and grown and grown, and and it's only grown off. Well, there's multiple reasons, but it's because the brand is what it is, and the brand has that standing in the US, and it comes down to their races, where races.
Yep.
Racing and quality comes first, and then everything just comes off the back of that. It's the credibility, that the brand has been, has created over that, that many years.
Mhm.
And it's been a journey. We've enjoyed 99.99% of it. And the only 0.1%, like you said, is we've pushed very hard. We've bought a lot of stock into the country. At times we've probably bought more in than we should.
Yep.
But we just make it work and do the best we can, and have faith in us, and have faith in the product, and have faith in the Australian market that they do see the value in a quality product and spending a little bit more money. And and it's been great. And we had that Method meetup day on the weekend.
Yes.
And it was so good, just to see our customers out there proudly wearing the product.
Yep.
And promoting the product.
Yep.
And it's we want our customers to feel part of something, to feel part of something. They've got a Method race, they've got Method race wheels on their pride and joy.
Yep.
We get as much enjoyment and pride out of that as they do of having it onto their car.
Yep.
So we get a kick out of it. We love driving around wherever we go and seeing Method race wheels on cars.
And I guess you boys can put your hand on your heart and say, like, hey, it's not just a product that we sell. Like, it's something that we live.
It's a way of life.
Like, yeah, that's right. Like, you guys, you look at all the cars here, they're Methods, they're Toyos. Ryan, you raced on Methods, Toyos, Tensor tires as well. Like, like you guys, when you put your hand on your heart and say, hey, man, like, I know that you can smash these things into a tree, blow a tire off, and still do 20 Ks at Fink.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly
really,
right.
And we've got that confidence that when we sell it out there, that it's been put through the ringer.
Yep. And then you touched on it as well, like the Method meetup. I think you guys are doing things that other companies aren't doing that promote that. Like you said, it's a lifestyle. It's not just a brand. It's not just a business. Like, you guys got involved in selling tires and rims because off-roading, that lifestyle, like going camping, like, like, heck, you guys even own a caravan park, like, or, sort of own a caravan park. That's a whole nother different, but like, you guys go away regularly. Like, you guys live the lifestyle. Like, it's not like a product that you guys just sell for the sake of it. It's something that you guys are genuinely passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look, it's like anything you do, like you need to talk to people and give people something that they want.
Yep.
And you don't want to you don't want to have to bullshit them and say, oh yeah, this is the best wheel on the market, and and tell a lie. You want to be able to look them in the eye
Yep.
and then go to sleep at night
Yep.
knowing that what you're selling them
Yep.
is the best that they can possibly get.
Yep.
And it's what do we say? Cheap wheels aren't good and good wheels aren't cheap.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. And there's a lot of people copying designs and
Yes.
that sort of thing. And it is what it is. But for a fact that just because it looks the same, it's not the same.
Yep.
And it's they can try and copy designs. They can try and copy this and copy that.
Yep.
But they can't copy us.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll beat you every time.
Yep.
They can't get the credibility that's been ingrained in the method for the last 12 years in Dakar wins, Fink Desert Race wins, Baja 1000 wins, Mint 4, what I mean? Like all those big off-road races
and
in
it's
the
the
world.
passion that drives the whole thing. It's not just someone sitting there in a design office going, oh, this wheel looks pretty cool. We'll put that into production.
Yep.
There's a lot that goes into it that makes these wheels what they are.
Well, even the effort that that you boys go into, like for the Australian market, like so one of the companies that I do some work for, they've got a couple of chopped and extended 200 series Land Cruisers that they use for work cars and stuff for the boys that work out of them, so they can all the GVM upgrades and everything like that. And you guys have actually gone through. I mean, our boss has no connection to us whatsoever, but he's got methods on it because for his work and everything like that, they were one of the only rims that were actually engineered, certified, 100% legal to put on his GVM upgrade. And that's how do I say that? That's not knocking method in America, but like that's something that you guys here in Australia, like Method Race Wheels Australia, like are passionate about, and making sure like you haven't just sold them a set of rims and gone, oh, it's all good, and then they have an accident, and all of a sudden like they've got no insurance. Like you guys have actually gone through the work and got your rims and everything engineered so that they're specifically load rated for a certain duty, which is massive. I don't know a lot of other companies, but I don't think other companies are going to that extent when they're selling you their rims.
And that comes down to the relationship we've got with the guys in the US, like the engineering team, the sales team, the marketing team, the whole lot. It's we ring them up and say, hey, we've got this fitment that we need. It's a big market for us, and they'll find a way to make it happen. And it's exclusive to us in Australia. We've got people in the US ringing us up for wheels, because it's a wheel that the US doesn't supply because it's exclusive to us.
Yeah, wow.
So and that took a lot of years too, because back in the day, and I'm turning the clock, it wasn't an overnight success story.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 pallets of wheels behind you there.
Yep.
That used to get us excited.
Yeah.
Because we'd get a couple of pallets on in a container that turned up. It was like, oh, cool, we've got a couple of pallets, but that's only a few sets of wheels.
Yeah.
And then these boys have turned it into what you may see behind you.
Yeah.
And again, like we've been begging for fitments for years that we want for the Australian market. And then now that we've got that relationship and experience to then be able to produce it and put those orders in, so
that's
actually
huge.
to give that Australian market what it needs and what these boys have sort of, I guess, brainchild
and built.
and go, we need this wheel. So to have that connection, and it's just hasn't been an overnight success story, and it's just been such 10 years in the making.
Well, even I think every time I walk into this facility that you guys have here, I'm blown away. Like it feels like every time I come in and there's just more and more. Like even from, I think it's been 6 months since I walked into here, which is not a huge time frame. But even this time I walked in, I was like walking down the shed and I was like, holy cow, there are like methods on methods on methods. And then you come down to the back part of the shed and there's where the race shop is, where we're recording now. And then there's Toyos on Toyos on Toyos with tensors. Like it's just, it's crazy. Like it's mad credit to you guys. Cause like you said, it was essentially not a pipe dream, but it was a
hobby business.
It was an idea of like where, hey man, like I remember having the phone call with you. You're like, hey man, like what do you reckon about this? I was like, I love it, man. We'll buy a set straight up. Like, but I mean that was one person. So then buy a set. Like we're not buying all these.
See where you started.
Like, and then to what it is today, like, and like you said, what you guys are putting back into the community as well, like with the method meetup and everything like that, it's huge. And yeah, all
And that's another thing I want to touch on is, like we do support a lot of people in motorsport now.
Yep.
And prior to this, we haven't had that ability to do it.
Yep.
And people have helped us. We've had companies support us through our racing and whatnot. And, we needed that to go racing. We didn't have money. We spent every cent we had plus a little bit.
Yep.
To go racing. And for us now to be in the position we're in,
yep,
it feels really good to be able to support those guys that are in the position we were in.
Yes.
15, 20 years ago.
Yep.
And it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, because I think that's another thing that comes across with you guys, and like on a personal level, like we're friends, but you guys are genuine in your love for the sport, for the sale of the wheels and everything like that. And I think that easily comes across. Like I just think, like you said, the method meetup, you guys hugely sponsor, like shameless plug because you guys do sponsor, but I mean, you sponsor us with the podcast. You guys put your money where your mouth is, like all the method sponsorship at Fink, like everything like that. Like, and that's not, you guys aren't like
Future Champions class.
Yeah, Future Champions class.
Grassroots.
Like, yep. Like you guys aren't just sponsoring. It's like, oh, look, it's $5,000 to the fastest method guy, which some other companies do and stuff like that. Like you guys are like, look, we're just throwing down like money to the fastest side by side. And even I know Method are a little bit involved with Troy Lee Designs over in the States, like with their Supercross team, but even putting money down for the fastest, money and a set of rims, was it, for the fastest guy on a bike at Fink?
Yeah.
Like that's nothing really to do with you guys selling rims, but it's
Can't
just
put Methods on a bike.
no, exactly right. But it's just you guys sponsoring off-road racing as a whole and the community. And I think that's awesome. And it's something that you guys do behind, like it doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't get the coverage that it deserves, because it's just, like to a guy like, to like a local racer or like, there's no money in off-road racing. So if you get, I think it was it $1,000? No, five. So there you go. I'm talking about $5,000 like cash for a guy riding a bike at Fink. Like, even though Walshy is sponsored, I mean, he's still got to go and drive nails the next day. Like,
he still works for a living.
He still works for a living, man. So that $5,000, that's money that he can use for pre-running. That's money that he can put fuel in his car. He can pay his kids tuition with it or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's huge.
All helps.
Yeah, and it's not $5,000 in vouchers. It's not 5,000. Oh, we'll give you a set of rims or anything like that. Like to actually throw cash on the table is a huge thing. And like, hats off to you guys. I think it's awesome. And yeah, I think it's awesome that you guys are able to use the method tag now. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for race wheels. Method race wheels. Actually, I got to get on the Grandfield. I got to get on the Grandfield.
Where's that button? I'll just dump that, mate.
I got to get him to get onto. I got Grandfield. I got to get him to update the intro and outro, because when he first made it, the intro, it actually said Method Race Wheels Australia.
We had to change it.
And we had to change it because it wasn't actually the official term. But now we've got to change it back. So I'll get on to Grandfield. I'll get him to sort it out one of these days. But yeah, crazy that it blows my mind what this shed is right now. It's a Method hub.
You know what it is?
Australian Championship winning
Too
shed.
small.
It is. Like, genuinely, it is. I remember when you guys moved into this place, and I was thinking, like, holy heck.
Yeah, you'll never fill
You'll
this.
never fill this.
I remember going for a walk in this, like when Dad sort of first brought us through. He's like, "Oh yeah, what do you think of the shed?" I was like, "Yeah, it's big. What are we going to do with it?"
Yeah.
Grandfield just messaged and said, "We'll have it tomorrow." What a legend. But yeah, I think it's just incredible what you guys are doing with Method and what you guys are like putting back into the sport. And I think that's hats off. It's a brilliant thing.
Yeah. And look, we've got some really good plans for next year of events that, we want to work with and support. We're working on some really cool things for Fink.
Yes.
Next year that we can't say too much about yet. But
no, say it. Sorry, I think that's probably blowing everyone's ears. It's pretty loud in my headphones. Apologies to everyone at home.
So it's some really cool things that we're working on with Method Race Wheels for Fink next year.
Yep.
So I can't wait till we sort of get a little bit further down that avenue and
Yep.
we can announce it. But
Yep.
it's going to be real cool.
I like it. I like it. So what? I was about to say, what other rounds for next year that you've got to try and defend?
Charters Towers.
Yep, that's a change.
Pooncarry.
Sorry, are you going to do the 900? Depends.
If we get a car,
We might do the 900 and 900.
How many drivers?
Guarantee we won't be doing 900 though.
we got 3 of them though. We did 300 each.
How many drivers can you nominate?
As many as you want, I think.
Brilliant. I like it. Well, boys, I think we'll wrap it up here. Or is there anything else you guys want to touch on?
I'm good.
Good? Don't know. Don't know.
Whatever we miss, we'll
Yeah.
just do the next one.
Yeah, we'll actually have to do another one. I got to say, I have loved being able to sit down with you boys and talk about the history, some of the stories that we learned over the years of Team Taylor, and get to cover on a few things. But boys, Mick, I'll open up to you. Anything you want to say or anyone you want to thank?
Geez, put me on the spot.
Yeah, I know.
Go with me first because Ryan's going to waffle on for a bit.
Well, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
well,
45 minute
Well,
victory
actually,
lap.
that's why I've had to do it right.
I think he's going to fade out into the not the.
No, the battery stuff.
Just
No.
like to thank sweet baby Jesus.
I mean, I'm basically a big, hairy American winning machine, and no one can hang with my stuff.
Oh, look, on a team,
Yes.
perspective, just like everyone that we race against, all of our racing family. That's why we do what we go and do. We spend a lot of what do they say? You spend all this money to go and race against people that you don't know, and but
Yeah, impress
off-road-
people you don't
Yeah,
like.
yeah. But look, off-road racing's not like that at all.
Yeah.
Off-road racing, we feel that everyone's a family.
Yep.
Most people are there for the right reasons, and we feel they're an extension of our family, and so they're the reason why we go and do what we do on a business sort of side of things. Just thanks to all of our customers and
Staff.
staff, and customers that have become we got customers that are good mates.
Yep.
Same as with racing, like that's how I got a saying in my life now that I just want to do cool shit with cool people.
Yeah.
So if I can tick those 2 boxes, then then it's worth doing. So
Yep.
that's me out.
Peace out, empty
Mic
out.
drop.
Yeah. Clay?
Look, I think with the racing perspective, I guess the recipe has been refined over 40 years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that aren't necessarily part of our program now, but have been a huge part to get us to where we are now. It's and you'd sit here for days trying to name the people, but
Yeah.
it's huge. The amount of people that just come out of nowhere and they just want to be a part of it. They don't expect anything. They just want to come and be a part of it, which I think is pretty cool about our sport. It's and I guess that comes down to saying want to do cool shit with cool people, and whether not saying we're the cool people, there's cool people around us, and we do cool shit.
Yep,
that's for sure. But it's hard work. It's not easy, and
if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, but and there's just always the people that are around you and support you, and I come up with some pretty crazy, stupid ideas at times, and to have Tammy's there, she'll listen to my stupid ideas and she'll go, "You're an idiot," and I'm like, "I know, but I'm gonna have a crack anyway." And it's, here we are.
Yep.
So you need good people in your corner, and you're some of probably the top 10 people around you.
Yeah, people say you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
You hang out with idiots. Or you hang out with good people.
And that's 100% true. Over to you, Ryan.
There's no one you had a hat here for, mate?
All right. Well, I do have a hat here. There's just we talk about I guess, commercial partners in
Shameless plug.
in the sport, and we've obviously got Method here. And I stole a hat, Pete Adderton. If you're listening, mate, we'd love to have you on board. And I expect an Instagram message by the morning.
Yeah, Pete. VH don't want you, mate, but off-road racing,
We'll
we'll
have
have to have you.
We would love to have you, mate. The passion and pride that man has in building better motorsport is something to be admired, and his drive and willingness to go above and beyond for, and particularly one of the things that probably shines through in most of his posts and most of the things he talks about is wanting to create a bit of spectacle for the fans, which in essentially are your customer.
Yep.
So hats off to him about that, and hopefully
Hats
hats
to
off.
him.
Hats
And
off.
there's a number one. You want to be with number one?
Yeah, you do. So-
Number one on the boosted buggy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, it is boosted.
And I think we need to inform Pete that his good mate Ryan Walkinshaw is already in off-road racing
He is, isn't he?
and is currently beating Pete at
Yeah.
off-road racing.
He is beating Pete.
He
Yeah,
is.
I did hear that.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's Ryan Walkinshaw 1,
Pete.
Pete Adderton 0 at the
Literally
moment in off-road
0.
racing.
We can make Pete number one pretty quick.
Yeah. I like it. I like it, boys. I love a shameless plug.
That's terrible.
And then last, but not least,
It's gonna be last.
yeah.
Damn it.
Well, I thought I'd give you time so that you can narrow
Yeah.
your speech down
Gotcha.
to who you
Gotcha.
want to thank. Like, obviously,
Well, who don't I want to thank?
well,
really?
go for it, man.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
I know we're poking fun at you, but
Yeah.
we do have
Yeah.
time.
We've got
That's why it's a
time?
podcast,
Yeah,
bro.
Gotcha. Look, yeah. Well, I mean, and that's a wrap. You missed it.
No, sorry, man. It was too easy.
You've been waiting like 2 hours for that, haven't you?
Actually, 2 hours, 40 and 37 seconds.
Serious. Wow,
That's all
we've
right,
been
boys.
waffling on.
No, it goes fast. And that's great.
Has anyone been listening that whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Granfield.
I think you fell
he's looking for a
asleep.
pay rise.
No, he's going to send us an invoice for 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Righto, Ryan. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, you know, who do I thank? Where do I start? I mean, obviously, Team Taylor.
Yep.
Always start there. Family. These boys right here. I mean, huge supporter of not just our racing, but I've personally, my racing. Like I wouldn't be here without them.
Yep.
I wouldn't be here without, mum and dad, Bryony, and the kids.
Yep.
Porsche, Chase and Hutchie. Like they miss out a lot of me at home.
Yep.
Going away racing to all that, and I love having them there, but they can't always be there. So,
Yep.
So thanks for their support. These guys' support. Like I said, mum and dad. Haley is obviously our whole team. Taylor, kids, spouses, everyone.
Foz.
So that's as a family level, and then going into Foz, like without Foz, we would not be here.
Yep.
Like that's plain and simple. He just works on that car as if it's his pride and joy, and
Yep.
it is.
Well, it is. Yeah.
And little thing on Foz. So we won the championship this year, 2022, 40 years ago to the month in October. 40 years ago, Zumazaka.
Yep.
Was the last
Really?
Queensland champion, Australian champion.
Was the only other.
The only other.
And 40 years.
And Foz was the mechanic then.
No way.
So fast forward 40 years, Foz
Yes.
again is the man.
Yep.
Yeah, in Queensland. So that's just
That's
unreal.
crazy.
Unreal.
Yep.
So, and obviously Stu, we spoke about engines. He is.
It took the overboosting.
He's our man. We wound it up. He spoke to me about the engine and what it does internally to that engine when I flick that high boost switch.
You didn't listen.
and yeah, so he's very descriptive in what that engine wants to pull itself apart when I'm doing what I'm doing to it. And and we almost didn't actually. So go back to Kalgoorlie. We almost in reconnaissance of prologue, we threw a belt on the oil pump, and we went back through the logging and I switched it off, but we were concerned. We almost didn't start that race.
Really?
Yeah.
You've waited till now to tell this story.
To the thank yous. Yeah. So anyway, so this is potty number 2 we can lead into.
Let's
so
go. Let's
almost didn't. So
Yep.
so yeah, anyway, thanks to Foz, thanks to Stu, thanks to Ronnie from Race Trans who does our transmissions.
Yep.
Method Toyo Tensor, PWR, the radiators.
I
you
think
know,
he's about to send you an invoice.
yeah. Who else? Yeah, there's just so many. I don't want to miss any, but yeah.
Every engineering have been good.
Emery Engineering down the road. They're our local heroes. Like we break anything, we send it to them. It comes back brand new.
Yep.
You know, so Damo, Brenny, and the boys from Emery. They're legends. Just Mikey from Mike Shocks. You know, him and Foz. You know, Mikey supplies us. You know, parts, shocks. You know, anything. You know, I know him and Foz talk.
Yep.
Fozzie does all the tuning and stuff, but you know, Mikey obviously helps out as well.
Product sponsors like 23-0, you know, anytime we need stuff for our crew guys when we're down at Fink, and you know, swags and sleeping bags. And
because how many of you were at Fink this year? There was like an army.
No, it was the year before. We had like nearly 30 people down there.
Yep.
We were spreading Dad's ashes down at our camp at Fink.
Yep.
The 23-0 King Chrome.
Yep.
Jenny Hitch.
Jenny Hitch. Jenny Hitch for the.
Do we need to get a
hitches.
panel out?
But pretty much. I'm looking at it now.
Race Wheels Australia. Method Race Wheels Australia.
Chameleon AMLS for that awesome trailer.
Yep.
That, you know, we just beat on every year at Fink, taking it down the service road. So it's just so much you know, great companies and brands behind us that can't do what we do.
Norwell Motorplex for the driver training at the start of the year.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing as well. Like all the little things you don't think about that go into, and it may not be, but like not having to worry about camping equipment, or not having to worry about like the trailer, making sure it gets down the Fink Road, or getting to do a little bit of driver training. And it might just be not so much teaching you how to drive, but like helping you mentally. Or, hey, do this and it'll help you feel more comfortable in the car. All of a sudden, rather than getting like a bit fatigued at the 200-kilometer mark, you're still feeling great. Like they're all the little things that
it's all little half. It's not even 1%ers anymore.
Yeah,
it's all
half percenters. Yeah,
thanks to the bus.
The bus,
Dad's bus that got us,
to
the races and back. You know, like, you know, it's just having that there as a base. You know, like we went down to Pooncarie and and it was like we just drove in. I was like, oh, okay, we're here for the weekend, the whole weekend.
No accommodation.
No accommodation.
Anywhere.
There's one convenience store. That was it. So it's all those things.
Russ for getting everything over to WA and back.
Russ Hartnett, from Hartnett Racing in Queensland. He offered to.
He drove your bus over.
He drove the bus over.
Yeah.
So that means
you guys could stay here.
Well, there's 2 weeks that Ryan doesn't need to be away from work.
Or family, or everything like that.
So that was just awesome. You know, so many people to thank, and hopefully we've thanked them all. But anyone else that's been a part of it, like just, you know, from our team, our family to everybody that's.
Well, I think you're 100% right there with your team and your family. I don't think we have enough mics to get Team Taylor down on. You're a mic. There's only
one's more than enough mics, mate.
So
mic on the mic.
We do not have enough inputs into the sound desk that we record this podcast with to get all of Team Taylor here. Like you talk about Annette, Haley, like, I mean, the list just continues. All the kids, everything like that are all, you know, continuing to grow into Team Taylor. Like, it's a huge thing. But I think it's an awesome thing. Like a family that races together stays together. It's one of those simple things. And I am super stoked that we were able to make this happen and get the three of you guys sitting down together at the same time. Like, I think we could do this monthly.
We've tried to do this, I recken, for 3 months. Not with you, just for us three to sit down together.
I've actually been waiting around since Kalgoorlie. I'm like, man, it's taking you a while to actually do this. You know, I've been waiting around.
No, it was always you know. You're dogging us, mate, and doing phone hookups. No, but yeah, we I on just a personal level, like one of the reasons, like I said, we started this podcast was to get to catch up with people like you guys and talk and hear the stories. Like you said, some of the stories you guys busted out tonight after 10 years of friendship, I still hadn't heard. So super appreciative that you guys made the time tonight to join in on this and to sit down and, you know, we talk about it, like take a bit of extra time away from your family and everything like that. But this is, look, it's been a good one. It's been a little emotional. It's been enjoyable, and it's great to say that we got to. So Ryan, do you guys know Ryan was our first ever guest? and he also
At
then,
number one.
and won his race the next like 2 weekends later.
Yep.
Won his race,
Yeah.
and now is the Australian Championship.
Claiming a bit of a record there, are you?
We are
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
So I've just put it out, like just trying to get people to come and
Yep.
on our podcast more regularly. Like,
Look,
I don't
you,
know,
you could probably just shut up shop now, mate.
yeah,
You
like
know, done.
Boost Mobile. Like, I don't know, like
Well,
you
do
know,
us, do us a favour and don't get Jake and Tommy on then.
no, no,
Yeah.
we'll speak for them.
yeah, copy. Maybe
Tommy's going to need to come on just to have a little bit of a
I-
comeback.
if Tommy comes on, we might that just regularly 24/7. But no, this is one that like to say to get the three on at the same time is a bit of a dream come true for me, and this is one that I have absolutely loved. So thanks a lot, boys. I appreciate making the time.
Before
And-
you take the mic off me, though,
yeah, but
which you did, I wasn't finished. I still had one of those speeches going on.
oh, did you?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Keep
So
going.
finish thanking everybody, I think, and I just want to, I guess, take a moment just to, we lost a few people in
Yeah.
off-road racing this year.
Yeah.
I don't want to end it on a sad note or
No,
anything like
no.
that, but I feel like the recognition, we need to just, obviously there's people in our sport.
Yep.
And we do this thing because we love it.
Yep.
And unfortunately things happen.
Yeah.
And so this year, a few names that obviously come to mind is Jerry and Edie, down at Rainbow.
Yep.
I think it was Greg Rhodes.
Yep.
From Rhodes Racing, and Les Sivia
Yeah.
from there. So I'm not sure if I've missed anyone, but thoughts with their families.
Yep.
And we know how tough it is, and we just wish those guys all the best, and that they can just keep on keeping on. And we all do this because we love it, and in the memory and in the name of those people, we keep on doing what we do, and
Legends live forever.
Legends live forever. They're not here forever, but they're remembered forever.
Yep.
So again, thoughts to those people in the family, and I don't want to end it on a sad note, but we do it, we love it, and
Yep. And off-road racing is a family.
it is.
Yep.
It is. So when someone loses, we all lose. So
Well, I think class act. I can't say any more to top that. So thanks for listening, and have a good night.
cheers.
Thank you.